What is up, Dama nerds? We're back again with another big episode of the Nerds. Your two favorite nerds on the two sides of the earth have come together once again.
Fucking around the world?
Yeah, around the world nerds around the world. So, yeah, as you know, my name is Rod. It is Tuesday, October 18th, just about 6:30 p.m. my time here in Vancouver, the 15th year of Sander. And I am joined, as always, by the lovely co-host over on the other side of the planet named MJ.
Booyah!
What up, MJ?
Shabooyah! What's up, everyone? Here and super excited. Episode 56. This is one, everyone, that you've all been waiting for. This is one that we all have been waiting for.
I know I've been waiting.
Not just these two nerds over here, but the nerd sphere, the Dama sphere, everyone in it has been waiting for this episode. Been waiting for this.
Been a long time coming.
Kendama Pro turned like vagrant, impossible to find, lost mountain man. Introduce him, Colin Sander.
Wow, thank you, nerds. Thank you. I'm super stoked too. Even I was wondering when this would happen.
But here we are. We roped you in, and we're in the nerd studio, and we're fucking get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, but I'm super psyched to be on. Absolutely love all the nerds out there, and I've been doing my homework, brushing up on old episodes, and just really enjoyed hearing from the rest of the community. And I'm just psyched to chat with you guys and talk about some old stories and answer questions and just kick it and celebrate this game that we all love.
Hells yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, again, everyone, this is one that we've been waiting for a long time, as I mentioned. To be specific, put things in perspective.
Yeah.
The first time that I announced that, hey, we're going to do a Nerds episode with Godfather, put it up on Patreon for everyone who's supporting there to let them know, hey, you can get questions. When was that? March 2nd, 2020. This is how long we've been waiting up. This is how long it's been building up, everyone. Emotions, tensions, just worrying
questions
for Mr. Sanders
I
to
hope
be like,
I can deliver.
Where is he? He's
I
up on the mountains. Maybe something happens.
You already have, but that's the thing. We're just here to talk about it.
Exactly.
I'm really, I guess there might be another episode to come out between these, but I'm psyched for it to be Roish and then me, but there might be other ones coming, but
No, exactly. They already heard it.
Yeah, we did have one. Yes.
So, Colin Sander. Now, there is so many people who have stepped foot into the Kendama world in the past, many years. Swedes Kendamas, I have to say, have been really pushing it and expanding the game to many new eyes, fresh new people throughout their various sponsored, the mob, the Sweets mob. That's pretty much it. They're creating a mob, and almost like KISS had their army, Sweets has their mob, and it continues to grow not only by the sponsored players, but all of the people who those sponsored players influence. So it's growing and growing, and there's plenty of people who don't maybe know so much about the history, and hopefully there's a lot of people who are tuning in right now to really get to understand again what happened at the frontier.
Yeah,
of
we're talking
Kendama play in North America.
Like origin stories. What was the Big Bang? What
the Big Bang
particles fused together to, create that first sort of like TK explosion felt in the US in those early days.
Right. So everyone, so Colin Sander.
This is like we're like slurping back the Kendama universe back
to there.
Yes.
Back to when we were all just little amoebas crawling out of the primordial ooze with a Kendama in hand.
Right.
What do we
do?
What is this?
Exactly. For everyone new, the OG heads were always say, favorite edit, biggest edit, Colin Sander, edit 7.
First
Many
edit,
people will mention. Yes, first even. What did you see? Yeah, edit 7, Colin Sander. There were so many things that attributed to making it such a big thing, the style of play, the high quality of the tricks that you were doing, the cinematography that you had, the music you implement, the colors, like there was so much
Mugens.
that went. Oh my god, yeah, yeah. There's so much that went into it that made it like that. So for everyone, like this is what we say. This is the Godfather of Kendama.
It's true.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Because he's the one that really put it
modern
on the map.
Kendama within America, not Kendama
Yeah,
itself,
exactly. We're talking within the U.S. And honestly, for me, there were, early on, basically the few players that kind of even had started before me or were the reason that I got into it. I know you guys sometimes bring up like, how did you find your first Kendama? Where did you first encounter it?
Let's hear it.
There's a famous pro skier who actually tragically passed away a few years back, JP Auclair. And he was sort of the Godfather before me as the Godfather.
He was the catalyst.
He was a big catalyst, and then
huge.
He made a Kendama section in an old ski video that was pretty widely distributed, and so a lot of people in the ski community, i.e. like me, Turner, we saw it through that video, which had a bonus section that was sort of like the first Western Kendama edit. It didn't even have a title or anything. It was like a 6-minute edit of Dama during their travels that played like after the like 40-minute ski movie.
Okay.
I was working in a ski shop at the time, and so they were like getting the DVDs in. We saw it, and immediately it definitely like grabbed my attention, and I was like, oh, it's so unique. I love that it looks like a challenge, like they can play it anywhere. But yeah, JP Auclair basically was sort of the true origin point for me. I mean, in rollerblading too, I believe, I forget who one of the street skaters was that like rode for Solomon, and I think he was Japanese. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but in someone's episode, they mentioned the photo of Jeremy with the stack of Kendamas. I think it was in the Ballard episode. He mentioned magazine spread of the stack of Damas. And they had just completed like a Japan tour for rollerblading. So there were kind of these two parallel cultures, like skiing and rollerblading, that were both just starting to like see Kendama just due to the nature of like, we go to Japan and film. We're in Japan for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We're in the mountains. We're street skating. And then like the Kendama started sort of like traveling upstream to American culture through those two avenues. But then we took it to the next level by starting to make videos and, you know, kind of pushing the tricks more. And we kind of took it from there to its own culture. But I definitely have to say, like, JP Auclair and, you know, Jeremy were basically Jeremy Stevenson were kind of my two like forays into it.
That's sick. I've heard other people as well. I believe like Alex Smith even said that he first saw it in that JP Auclair video, and like a lot of the like Kendama Edmonton homies, like that, like the guys that showed me it, you know, like they're same thing.
Was JP Canadian?
It was a pretty big. I believe he was.
I think he was
Canada.
Yeah. I think he was Quebecois, maybe.
Yeah. Damanerds homework. There was like a famous video of JP's that kind of went viral. That was like this street skiing, urban street skiing sequence. Rod might know it, but yeah, MJ, or if people haven't seen it, I think it's called All I Can. Was the name of the video, and JP Auclair, and he gets like towed through a bunch of urban spots, and he's like skiing through the streets.
And this is circa what, like early 2000s?
Yeah, it had to have been like 2010, 2011, 2012. I don't know. It went super viral, and this was after he made his Dama section. But if anyone watches that, it's like beautiful directing, beautiful cinematography, amazing skiing. It's kind of the coolest thing you can watch to like celebrate JP.
Sick.
It was like kind of, just a larger than life personality too.
Yeah, that's sick. That's some good nerds homework, actually. I actually don't know if I know that video, so I'm also going to brush up on my
you'll
homework.
be like, oh yeah, I totally saw this. Like,
I hope so, but we'll see, I guess. I almost hope not, actually. You know, I'd like some fresh eyes, but yeah, that's sick. Some homework on the Godfather of the Godfather. That's deep. I love it.
Yes. So now when was that? You know, I think edit one was 15 years ago. hanging out at Willie's ski and snowboard, you know.
Willie's.
So let's hear about Willie's. And like, was that the place where you pretty much learned about kendama? Is that place where you started seshing? Is that where the kind of in your area the community happened?
Yeah. So like I was saying, we worked in this ski shop. And the crazy thing was,
is Willie still there? Can people go there and do an edit?
Willie's
inside
is
the shop?
still there. Now, we were working in the warehouse location at that point, which may have shifted, which was like the year before's goods.
Okay.
Crazy family story with Willie's. They're like a super OG, like East Coast ski shop. But my dad, when he was in high school, he actually worked at this ski shop.
And where exactly is Willie's? I'm sorry. Is it?
It's basically in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh. Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page.
So for all the nerds,
right?
I grew up
trying to go.
Yeah, for all the nerds,
also.
I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and so did Zach Yord. We didn't meet. We met through Kendama, but
Skags.
Grew up in Pittsburgh, but I've been in Los Angeles for like 10 years at this point.
Yep.
California for slightly longer. Most of my kendama I played in California, but yeah. Anyway, Willie's ski shop, super awesome crew, really fun, and you know we see it in this video, and we're like, we got to get one of these for the shop because you're just killing time. Like, there's so much dead time when you work in an actual shop, especially like a ski shop in Pennsylvania.
Especially when it's not season. You're just like, all right, well, you know, we don't got to sharpen, you don't got to fit boots or nothing.
It was kind of like a seasonal job. So it'd be like ramping up to season, but still you're working at like Thanksgiving. There's no snow. Like sometimes like 4 people are coming in. Anyway, we're like, okay, we need one of these for the shop. So our manager, the one manager and my older brother Christian worked there too. And they decided like we were going to order some off of eBay or whatever. Yeah. The first one we get is like totally not JKA sanctioned. The one with the, you can see it in the edit one. It has like the red and blue stripe, and it's like a 2/3 size Dama.
Oh shit!
So it was so freaking hard, and we knew it was kind of trash like the moment it arrived.
It looks different, yeah.
We kept jamming it, and we're like, this ain't the one in the video. So we start like searching more and more. Whenever they ended up finding somehow like a 25, or I think it was 24. You could get 24 TKs. There's like a box of TK16, but we couldn't figure out where to order a single. So we had this meeting. We're like, listen, okay, can 4 of us go in on this box? It's going to be like $80 each or something because they have to ship it by boat. And like, it was going to be like $120 of shipping.
And you're like, what, teenagers?
Yeah.
You're not like
working at a ski shop.
Spend this money. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And it was, but yeah, so 4 of us, it was the 2 managers, myself and my brother. Were like, yeah, okay, let's split it 4 ways. Everyone gets whatever it was, 6, 8, I don't know, math.
Yeah.
But anyway, then they did
red?
No, it was a variety of colors, which was rad.
Nice.
But so we jammed the like crappy one for like 2 more weeks and basically got super honed on this terrible Dama. And then when the PKs arrived, we were like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
they played so much better. They had the seal. We're like, this is everything. These are like better than what was in the video.
Yep.
It's
like a current player now playing with like a 2014 Dama.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, totally. It's like you go out for the Sweets website, you like order the new amp shape or whatever, and you get a fucking like a fucking Mama Kendama like from like 2009, like you know.
Yeah.
There's like not even a bevel in the fucking Dama, and you're just like, oh, I'm okay.
So that must have
cool.
boosted.
I guess we'll wait so we can.
Yeah. Boosted your energy, boosted the amount of tricks that you could do. What made you decide to, hey, let's like film?
Well, me and my brother had already been sort of shooting and editing skate videos, ski videos. We already had like kind of got into like filming ourselves and filming each other like for a while at this point. And I kind of credit it to my brother who got a camera when he was in like 7th or 8th grade. I think there was like this little handy cam, and we skateboarded and rollerbladed and did BMX and kind of we had been doing that stuff even since like 4th, 5th grade. Like my dad was super rad, and he did like some whitewater kayaking, water skiing, rock climbing, skateboarding. He was a big time ski racer. So he kind of had us doing like more unique activities from like a young age. But basically we were doing some of that stuff before even the camera tech was around. And then once we did get a handy cam, we're like, okay, we need to like make a skate video, make a like whatever video. And so yeah, my older brother had a really awesome like TV production teacher his freshman year of high school that kind of pushed him in that direction a little bit, and then I kind of joined on with him. But yeah, by the time I started playing Kendama, which would have been like, I was already an undergrad, I think my freshman year of undergrad, end of freshman year, maybe sophomore year. This is like 2005, 2006, 07, maybe 06, I think. But yeah, I had actually been sponsored by K2 for rollerblading already, and I was making like skate sections for them. So I was already fully making like edits, and we made like a bunch of like quote unquote feature films for our skate crew in high school, which was we were rollerbladers and skiers.
Are those available somewhere?
They're kind of, they're around on the internet. A lot of people that have them on, like, they were on VHS.
Yeah.
And we did start making some DVDs, but the first 3 are like on VHS, and then the like last 3 are on DVDs. But anyway, so we were already making videos, like shooting, editing. We were deep in the grind at that point. So once like Kendama came into my life, it was just very natural to be like, oh, like, we need to get clips, like we need to plan tricks, and then like put it into a sequence and be like, look how rad this is.
And did you feel like that was more personal? Like that was like for you guys and the crew to look back on, or like you wanted to show it to other people?
I think definitely there was an element of wanting to share it, and kind of like show your proficiency in a way. But a lot of it was just to straight document and be like, this actually happened. But I think it's the full package, like with filming, where it helps you progress, it helps you see what you're doing right, see what you're doing wrong, like have different realizations, have like a goal to work towards. So it was kind of just all of those things. But there was sort of an element as I got a little deeper into playing, like that was like, okay, this is actually a really awesome game, and like it needs to blow up, like with the skate world, with the ski world, just with kids. Like it's really good for your hand-eye, it's super fun, it's challenging, it's analog,
and especially like for big time skiers, I understand, there's this story with Turner, how he really dove into it when he broke his leg and like he totally couldn't do anything, and that was what he turned to, and then he just continued on with it. So for like those seasonal players, as well as with any kind of like rollerblade, BMX, skateboard, like you gotta go to the spot, you gotta go there, you have to then make sure that okay, you can skate the spot, you get kicked out, you got to go to another place. Kendama, you could do for fucking hours on end in your fucking kitchen.
You can still get kicked out of a spot filming Kendama, though. That's happened to me.
That's hilarious.
I mean, you guys got kicked out filming clackers or whatever you were called.
The smackers. Yeah, well, that I would kick some kid out that was playing smackers around my place too.
It's just so loud and annoying.
We've been kicked out for filming everything, Dama, non-Dama, skating, all that stuff. There actually some stuff started getting a little gnarly when we were in undergrad and filming skate videos out here in California, and it's a little bit more of a bust factor, and we had climbed some fences, and eventually people in the crew had been handcuffed, and like we were put in a Santa Ana prison for like a holding cell at the police station.
Yep. There's a difference.
But it felt pretty intense. Basically, we started realizing that like we weren't pro enough in skating to be like risking like fines, and like it was just time to kind of graduate from like hard street skating. and then we started to ski more as we got older, and like we still played at like the skate park and stuff, but definitely, yeah, kendama it's a more accessible activity in a lot of ways, which I think, you know, is part of the reason why it's just loved by so many people.
Yeah, right. People that are into the extreme sport realm as well as not, you know, both sides of it. So go back to the early edits. I think it was up to like edit 4, there was no music. It was just you filming. And edit 1 had a lot of your other friends at Willie's, maybe staff and stuff. But primarily, it was you. So were you the main guy that was like, were you like the annoying kendama kid that was like, you gotta play this, you gotta check this thing out, like carrying it around when you were hanging out with your friends?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like the early edits, I do think it's kind of cool that because there was no music, you kind of pick up on so much of like the ambiance of what's going on, and like what someone had just said, or like what the sound is in the room, hearing the sound of the clacks and stuff. So it has like a weird Zen element to it. And is it Shimadera-san? I know he was brought up in earlier episodes, but like Extreme Kendama, like those were some of the early videos that I also saw where it was like, it was quiet. You could hear exactly what happened with the Ken. You could hear the clack. Like, so it kind of seemed like that was the way it was supposed to be. But then as tricks got heavier and heavier, it was like, okay, we need songs. We need like...
Did you know Freedom Kendama back in the day? Like back in
Yeah. Freedom Kendama. I can't remember. I don't remember the guy's name, but he had
Takumi Okada.
Yeah. Okada-san.
He's another guy that, he made his own music for his edits. That's what I was going to say. Like he had, if you watch the edits, all of them at the end of it say like Kendama by Takumi, like music by Takumi, video by Takumi.
Yeah,
it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
But
I think he had that similar style where it was just like silent.
No, his music was pretty present.
Oh yeah, his clacking music. Yeah.
But it was like a lot of, but you could like you can tell that he's just like in his basement.
His was like electronic music, like early.
So it was a lot of like drum and bassy kind of shit. Like, it gets a little grimy, and you're like, oh, what the hell? It is 2009. Oh, what the fuck?
So I will say, like, I definitely was like my edits 1, 2, and 3. I was drawing from inspiration from the Japanese community for sure, and there was also this page called Japanese Super Tricks or Kendama Super Tricks. If any of you guys have heard of this will be a deep nerd thing.
Hell yeah. I don't know if I remember that one.
So it was just called, it was like supertricks.jp or something, and it was linked in the JKA website.
Okay.
But it wouldn't translate into English, so you had to just click through like all the like Japanese characters, and it would be like sometimes it'd be like a spacewalk, sometimes it'd be like a double UFO, or like some crazy like moon circle to bird, and you're like, what? Like
ships, like
they were
single
figuring
out like hieroglyphs, Egyptian hieroglyphs,
and there's probably like 200 plus lines on this page, and I would go through and click through, and like sometimes I click through randomly, but by the end I had easily seen like every video, and there were really only like 5 or 6 players like represented on the page. And it was some of the people that were also like, you know, on YouTube already at the time, or had you would see in viral videos later, but like it was basically like the high level JKA guys doing some street tricks. So I definitely like mooched some stuff from there, but still was like creating original tricks at the same time.
Totally. No, edit 2. There's some comedy or I don't know, just messing around that happens. Who do you know? Can you go deep in who is Yuji? Explain who Yuji is.
Her name is Yuji. Yuji. Okay, so I think
teaches commenting back and forth.
There's like a weird message that comes on screen.
Yeah.
So Yuji, I think he was Japanese, and he was like the heir to some sort of like semi-sizable wealth out of like a Japanese baseball family or something. Went to school with my brother, kind of had some issues with partying and like substances and such, which people can get entrapped by during undergrad, so like pretty normal. But he was just a hilarious, funny guy who like you know, English was a second language, but he was like down to party. Funny stories would happen with him. He ended up being like, we wrote a character based on him in the college comedy that I like produced and directed with my brother.
Nice.
So like there's a character named Yuji.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to ask about that movie.
Yeah. Yuji. Wait, in edit 2, it's something about like,
Edit 2, he's like, my balls are still like swollen or some shit. But then at the very beginning, that's how it opens up. But then it does connect to just like a few tricks later. You do see Cheech, you know, get like a downspike or I forgot what it was.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, you're hilarious. That clip of his text was filmed on a GL2. Also, if anyone wants to go back to the era.
What's a GL2?
You guys even remember when a GL2 was? Canon?
I have no idea.
Okay,
no.
This was like
okay.
This was like the mini DV camera for like skateboarders that was kind of like groundbreakingly, even though it was only like standard definition resolution.
Yeah.
It was like 380p. It was still like game changing.
Hell yeah! Well, back then, hell yeah.
Yeah,
that's sick.
Nice. So then, like, okay. So you were getting into it at that time. You were starting university, and were you already set to be like, I don't know, you went to film school, right?
Yeah. So we had already. So I went to Chapman University, which is like a film centric school. There's other, you know, degrees you can get there as like a business school and a really big music school, but they had like one of the more competitive film programs. So yeah, went there for production, but Kendama was sort of like personal fun videos sort of running alongside the more like narrative and television studies, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah,
because I feel like a lot of that almost gave you a bigger impact for your edits when they were coming out, because we would look at, you know, the past edits or of that time. And, you know, you got Shimadera doing like YouTube shorts and fucking TikTok videos because he was uploading silent videos of him, like 30-second clips of single tricks. And then finally, like however many months later, he'd put them all together and put some music on it.
Yeah.
But when you, especially, you know, as you were evolving as a Kendama player and as a cinematographer, like you could tell that, and that's why like Edit 7 was a huge thing, and really influenced other people because you had that background with film.
No, that sunset background specifically.
Still pretty
that sunset with the cup tricks. That's like,
God,
that was one of the
slaps.
Dude, it still slaps.
Slaps.
I'll never
forget
just like finding that video. That was one of the first videos I ever saw was Edit 7, and that shot, I was like, holy.
I will say that, so that area is a place called Playa del Rey, California, which is, it's just a beach in Los Angeles.
It's the playa.
Kind of by the airport, but the way it's situated, you get just these amazing views, amazing sunsets like every night. And I was living there with my brother at the time, and it was definitely like, it's just a beautiful place on earth. So that really helped with that. But yeah, having done like all those early edits and getting to mess around and stuff, I felt like my aesthetic was like ready for Edit 7 to be like, okay, let's make this like more crafted, more like it just has to be really, really good. Because I'd done 6 at that point that were kind of just like fun, mess around with the homies, pretty casual. Some comedy mixed in there. And then Edit 6, which could be Nerds Homework, is like an obscure one that was released on a DVD.
To find.
Have you seen it, MJ?
I have not.
You have? I gotta send you. It's good. It's like straight up good. Rob, have you seen it?
I did watch it back in the day.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I have seen it.
It's got some decent clips. It's similar to the level of 7, but I do some.
I might have the DVD of it. But anyway.
I do some stringless Dama. It's all filmed in this parking garage, and I wear the same clothes for the entire thing. So like,
nice.
It's like white basketball shorts and a white shirt and a red. Like, I switched up. Like, I had Uzaros, I had TKs, I had like Shinsakura, Shinfujis, but I would always do red. Just like it just popped in the parking garage.
Oh yeah.
The
classic red.
as the progression goes, throughout your videos, you can see, the tricks get more intense. Even though you were doing some pretty nutty tricks like early on, like, hitting like 2 turn, like up to lighthouse. And it was just like, oh shit. And, you could hear like your brother in the background be like, what? Like, getting excited and shit. And it just progressed, your play, and then your cinematography, the editing game also got better and better. Was there a time when you felt like you wanted to step it up, or was it like just a natural progression?
So the kind of turning point, which is basically when I got connected with Jeremy Stevenson and Kendama USA, was my Kendama Edit 4, which was basically the time at the time where Jeremy had messaged me through YouTube and said like, hey, I see you're a rollerblader. I see you're making Kendama videos. I'm trying to start up a company to like help distribute them in the US and just spread the game. And like, I'm trying to set up a team, and like, would you be interested in being a part of it? So
cold call.
I was super hyped. So I had only put out 3 edits at that point, 1, 2, and 3, but I did have a bunch of skate videos, rollerblading videos that were on YouTube as well. So I think Jeremy, who was like a professional photographer for rollerblading at the time, saw those and was like, okay, this guy is like one of the only people making videos and he rollerblades. So like, let's try to get him involved. And I was super open to it, super stoked whenever, but once I responded back to him and stuff, he like right away either had called me or like sent an email and then set up a call and basically was like, I'm trying to make an awesome pro team. I want to really like take this to the next level, have an entire company. Like, are you into it? I want to send you kendamas. So I said, yes, I'm stoked on it. But at the time, Jiro had this idea that the pros were only going to play gold Mugens.
Yeah, I kind of love that. Can we just bring that back? I'm down.
So Jeremy, because he got like, I think he bought like either a 12 rack or like a case, but he bought gold Mugens in bulk at the time.
Yeah.
And he was like,
my God,
he knew that they were like doper than the other Damas. And he was like, okay, the golds are only for the pro team. So like I got like 2, I think I got 2 gold Mugens. I say Mugen, but it's Mugen. I know it's like
Mugen.
But
you
2 gold
you influence the culture, Colin.
It's
the Mugen for the real nerds. Mugen.
Mugen. In the bathtub.
The golds, man. I may have told this story on the Nerds once before. It's just a quick little iteration about the fucking gold Mugen. I almost got one once. I didn't know it was on the line at the EKO in Toulouse, France in 2013.
Oh, yeah.
I was in the 3rd place battle with Matt Sweets Jorgensen. Motherfucker. And he beat me. And fucking, I lost the gold Mugen. He won a gold Mugen. It was like 3rd place specifically was getting this gold Mugen that was like that was fucking donated by whatever Japanese homie was there. And then we found out, and I was just like. And now I think every time I fucking see him with it, because I go to his house pretty much, and I always see it, and I'm like, oh, and he always just looks at me with this shit-eating grin, and I'm just like, fuck you, sweet.
Oh man,
I get filled with the sweets
rematch.
Yeah,
that's a really good like deep core memory of like almost having the gold Mugen.
Right.
Never wanted a gold Mugen so bad in my life
until I didn't even think about it.
Well, I didn't know it was on the line.
Yeah,
and then it was like,
Since you brought up sweets, just to tap on like sweets and like collectors vibe stories, the most anyone's ever bought a kendama for off of me was Matt Sweets, and and it was it was helpful. I definitely have sold stuff into his collection, and he always would give me like a fair price for stuff.
Wow.
But he purchased for me and owns the blue Kotobuki Mugen.
Oh, wow,
has the gold sparkle, which I filmed it in Mugens in the house, and kind of once I'd filmed them all and they were in the video, I was like, I'm okay to sell these. Like, Sweet's gonna keep them in his museum, like
in a good place.
We've got crazy HD footy of it. It's already out in the edit.
Yeah.
We played nice, but like they're more just to be like preserved.
Totally.
But anyway, Sweets is sitting on the blue Koto that I secretly like love and think is mine.
Right?
Yeah,
I think he bought my red Kodo off me too, maybe, and then the blue like a year later. But anyway,
probably.
But anyway, dude, so got the whole collection.
When I really tried to like kick it into gear with the edits, was Jiro was like, okay, you're on like the pro team, you're like a pro, and I'm like, okay, I have like 3 Haggard edits. I need this to seem like way more legit. So I was like, all right, better film angles, like harder tricks, like. So my Kendama edit 4 felt like a big level up for me. And it was also like, then basically the entire edit's like on gold Mugens. But then we didn't realize that like 6 months later, a year later, they'd be like hard to find. And Jeremy's like, yeah, I'm like, I need another gold, man. He's like, yeah, we can't like get them anymore. Like, I don't really know. And it was just like, what? Oh, okay. Like you said, we'd only play on golds. And like, it's only been like 9 months now they're out. Like
you went too hard, dude. Pro team went too hard.
The gold mines have dried up. They're gone.
Yeah.
So I used to search for gold Mugens, and this is last little side story with that. We don't need to dive into American politics, but all you need to know is Jiro sent a gold Mugen to Obama when he won his like presidential.
No.
So the White House gifting department has a mint gold, or received one in like whatever that was, 09, 010, I don't even know.
No way.
But so we were like, and he'd always be like, oh man, I wish I maybe wouldn't have mailed that one into the abyss of like Washington. The lit one opened in package.
I mean, that's a good gamble though. If for whatever reason Obama had opened it and just been down, you know, and just like all of a sudden had a gold
Mugen. Is he like playing it now? Like
he could be, man. Yo, Obama,
right?
If you're listening, man, hit up the
and hit up the nerds. Just send a clip, you know?
Actually,
do a big
picture.
Cup.
Even a picture.
That's true.
With a gold Mugen, like that would be too much.
That's insane. That's I thought Wyatt sending Tony Hawk, his Chen mod was kind of big.
Yeah,
the president has a gold Mugen, not just a Kendama.
Maybe. It might just be in the depths of the White House. Who knows what other treasures are in there? But
yeah, exactly.
All with other gold shit.
It's probably they just threw it in the pile next to all the UFOs and you know the fucking the American pyramids they don't want anybody to find. Whatever other conspiracy you want to talk about. But
when you started,
that'll be episode 2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Attack of the Clones.
When you jumped on with Jero and Kendama USA, who are the other people that were aboard?
So it was really just me. Like Jeremy, I don't think he had like started the company or like the LLC or like the actual company structure yet.
It's like an idea.
Like, this is an idea. It's early on. I think at the time there were like a couple other rollerbladers that he had playing.
That first video, the first KUSA edit.
Yeah, so that was kind of like
you were there really young, and then there was a bunch of, rollerbladers in there.
Yeah. So I think I can't remember the name of the Japanese blader, but he played, and then I think there was like I don't know if Alex Broskow was playing yet at that point, but Frankie Morales was definitely playing. There were like a couple bladers that were like loosely playing, and then Jeremy had. I remember on like the early Kendama USA like pro team, it was like a couple other bladers that were like sort of just in the skate world, but not like crazy into Kendama. And I was sort of the first person who was like, he was like, look, Dama, not that it was like my main thing at that point, but he was like, you're into this for Dama's sake. It's not just sort of like a side accoutrement to your other sports. So like, he kind of wanted me to be sort of like the team leader, of sorts. But yeah, it was basically just Jiro, me, and then his direct friends that like rollerbladed, he shot photos with. They were like kind of on the team, but like we're more just like blade homies.
And the homie squad that's just around and helps out.
Yeah. But then, so I think then the second person, like the second actual Dama pro, like I basically think I roped Zach Yord into it like a year later, and I was like, you're already getting good, like we can't just have the entire team be from my same high school, but like you're the only other person who's like found at this point, and like So yeah, then I think it was Yord, and then I think Turner, Thorne was like our third or like first extra pro, and then Smith I think was after that, unless Smith came before Turner maybe actually.
No, Smith was the fourth one.
Yeah, Smith was the fourth
because he won the video contest right afterwards.
Yeah. And I remember me and Zach. So early on it was just me. Then basically like a bit in, Zach Yord, who it was awesome because we would kind of like push each other back and forth with our edits, and that you know how it is when people want to like drop a trick before you drop a trick, and
at that time especially.
He was kind of my like head-to-head competition, and I remember funny story with like I could tell he was like getting better than me just by like the way he would catch his lunar, like how he would land his tricks, and I'm like, yeah, that was launched, that was like absolutely pocketed, like he just looked good, you know. So I was like, it's only a matter of time before he's better than me, whatever. then Zach Yord's Edit 3, I played it for my college roommate who appears in a bunch like of my earlier edits. He was in the black and white 5-cup edit with me.
Oh yeah.
I played Zach Yord's Edit 3 for him, and he just looks at me and just goes, "It's over, dude."
It's over.
He's like, "It's a dude. He's way better than you. Like you'll never catch him." And I was like, "What? No." I was like, "It's a good edit, but like I'm still like, no, man." Like he's like, "Bro, did you see that like double lunar flip? Like you're done. Like whatever it was." And I was kind of like taken aback. I was like, "No, I knew this edit was fire, but like." So I was already like ready to be just like taken out, and
the young grasshopper
Fraser was playing back then. So me and Fraser would kind of like have some competition back and forth, trying to get tricks and just talking about tricks.
Young Fraser was fucking heady, dude. I mean, he still is, but he had the tricks.
Yeah.
So what was the culture, the community like back then? Because now it's grown to something that many people regard as like so welcoming, so open, honest, and just a big help out for so many things, not just as a person like playing kendama and leveling up their skills, but like mentally, like friendship, like it's grown into such a beautiful thing pretty much. But at the beginning, like, you know, as well as now, you know, Instagram is the main place where everybody lives. But at that time, how are you contacting people? How are you meeting people?
So it was, I definitely think kendama draws in a certain type of sort of creative, positive, open, maybe like a little bit hippie, a little bit more out there type person, because they're like, oh, it's
open-minded.
It's sort of
well-rounded, if you will,
a form of juggling. Yeah. But so I love, it makes sense that the whole community is like so positive now, and it definitely was that way back then, but it felt sort of like an extreme, like niche kind of thing then, where like it was like, okay, we knew that like me, Yord, Fraser, like Roosh, Van Rasta, like Void, like you kind of knew everyone like by name.
It was like a handful of people that were actually involved in it, right?
Yeah. So it was, and I think like, I guess we would talk maybe on like Facebook Messenger back then, like me and Fraser, me and your like people would, I think that it was either that or like Gmail chat.
That's sure.
But yeah, there was no like Facebook group for kendama or something, but like through Facebook, I remember that's how I would like message with Fraser, or message with like, you know, people like in Europe, in England and stuff. And like, it was very like direct, just like talking to each other. Then you'd get someone's number and be like on the text level or do a phone call or whatever. But yeah, it was, you know, it was positive. Everyone was like, I feel like there was this feeling of like everyone that did play knew that the game itself like needed to be seen by more people and was like ready to like break out. So there definitely was like a feeling of like the potential of being like, look, this isn't like as big as like skateboarding, but it's like there's going to be a ton of kids that can like play this, benefit from this, enjoy the experience. Yeah.
So we're still in like the 2010 era at this point of the timeline.
Some of you listening nerds were 5 at this point.
Yeah, actually.
Oh man,
actually,
possibly.
fuck,
you know,
Gallagher's.
So this isn't too far in the future, but do you remember, Colin, when you and I shared our first Japan trip?
Oh yeah,
in 2012. We were both there for that event. I'll never forget the first time I saw you, because I was standing there. I remember at the door of the venue, and I was like, I'm like, if you're looking at the building, all the way to the right of like maybe 10 doors or some shit. Yeah. And I'm like over in the kind of corner, standing with Eric and Brett probably, and we're playing Kendama and whatever. And then you just came in with all your luggage and shit, and just like walked right by, and you're like, "Yo, what's up?" And just like kept walking. You were on a mission. I don't know if you were trying to check in or meet somebody or what the fuck, but I was just like, "Yo, it's fucking Colin Sander. Whoa, fucking sick." And then we were like hung out and shit. That was such a fucking crazy trip. That's
dude, that was so awesome.
Of all the Japan trips I've had at this point, that's still to this day one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was, I think you touched on it either in Roosh's episode or something, but we went out for this invitational competition out there, and it was very much like an early crew of like the first couple dozen foreign kendama players that were asked to like perform on stage, and they were like, look at how weird he grips the kendama. We're gonna make him go up and freestyle.
Oh, he touched the string.
But funny story, I think we all got worked pretty early in that contest, but I lost in the first round, and I think it was
me too. It
was like a 12-year-old girl from either Mongolia or Nepal, but I feel like it was
Mongolians. There was a huge Mongolian squad that year. I remember that.
Back in the day, this is like, you think about like all the different areas that have popped. People don't understand. Like 09 Mongolia was
dude, if they were still playing, maybe some of them are. If they were, they would still be winning, dude. They were fucking gnarly.
Yeah. But I will say there was also this trick, and the referee like called me for like a fault. But I thought I got it, and then she missed it, and then I like basically I almost closed my first round, but they called me on like a hand fault on like, you know, when you like you're holding the tama, Ken is down like you're about to do an airplane, but then you swing it and you roll the string around your hand, catch it, and then airplane.
Okay, like
a scramble?
Yeah, it's like a basic scramble. Yeah. Or basic hand roll, whatever. But apparently I floated it, so like I didn't like
the string wasn't full contact.
Damn. There was no full, and I was like,
that's some JKA shit right there, man.
Yeah. Honestly, it was like close. I wasn't even like popping it like from me. No. But I was like, wait, what? I didn't get that?
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, another one that maybe some people don't
see, and I was like, whatever.
It gets deep. There's one that I was always surprised about like going for like an airplane or whatever, 1 turn, 2 turn, up anything. The string can't touch your finger. You have to position it out so the string coming out of the hole from the tama only. That's the only thing that you're using for leverage to get that hook. Now, me personally, my fingers are always there, and I feel like I get a better snap. Yeah,
me too. Yeah. And I was gonna say that's become more of a thing for me as strings have become longer. Yeah, like back in the day when you had the 2-finger string, that wasn't so bad because you could still get a little whip on it like easy.
Yeah.
But if you have a fucking string that you can't even count with your fingers, then good luck, not using your finger. You gotta whip your arm like fucking 4 feet left to right to get that 3 turn up.
Try that. Try that right now, everyone at home.
Yeah, and for the Patreon, getting the video, I prefer to have.
Oh, dude, me too, dude.
That finger right on it. Yeah.
Fight.
Okay. So of course, Japan was awesome. We'll dive into Japan in a little bit, but I do have a question for edit 6. That was a rare one. It is one that is lost.
Why was that rare? Yeah, it was a limited release on Netflix.
Before Netflix,
available for 1 week only.
You had so many people following you because of your kendama edits. You have a various amount of different types of video. If everyone goes on Colin's YouTube channel, and your edits, your kendama edits are here and there, and you had a lot of people, a lot of comments, activity on your kendama edits. Even Rob, what's his name? Scallion? The music YouTube dude? Anyone know? The huge YouTube music dude who got in it like early on, like with YouTube and playing music and like, hey, riffs and shit, like comedy style wise, doing YouTube thing. And I remember early on when I was watching his videos, like everyone, he had like a blue TK or a Zora. I was like, what the fuck? chocolate when I was getting in on it. And then as I was doing some homework like a few weeks ago, checking out the old Sander edits, I see him commenting. Be like, oh, he's got the fucking check right next to his.
I feel like
he's
YouTube,
like, that was cool, dude.
It was a more like budding community. This is another interesting thing to note because I feel like even YouTube, I don't know their exact founding date. I don't know.
It was pretty new, man.
06, 010, like 2008 maybe. Either
something
way,
like
it wasn't
that.
like it wasn't as like uniformly embraced. So I do think there was something to like, there weren't like a ton of views on the early edits, but getting some of the later edits to like go semi-viral or at least get a lot of eyeballs. I think it was a combination of like using the right titles and like search optimization in the descriptions and like we'd share the links around a couple different message boards or like try to share them and like, but I do think that there's YouTube's so awesome and still such a great resource and super fun.
For the record, I looked it up. It was 2005, February 14th, 2005.
Yeah, there you go. So what made you decide to put edit 6 away behind a paywall almost?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Jeremy wanted to make a DVD he wanted to make like something we could sell that taught people how to play Kendama. So Kendama Edit 6, we were like, let's just drop it as a DVD and it'll have a lot of like instructional stuff of you teaching people kind of the basics. And then it'll also have like a banger edit that you can watch and then like some extras and stuff. So, I was into it. Jeremy was like, basically then it became sort of more of like a paid project, or I was like, let's do this properly. I'm not going to go like film myself teaching Kendama in the park for like 4 straight days because I'm just trying to jam, unless this is like, okay, we're selling it. This is like going to help people, but like also be a good product for them to have, yada, yada. So yeah, that was basically just like, okay, cool. We'll make edit 6. Like we wanted it to be sort of like an enticing selling point for people that might be like, okay, I don't need a like how to play Kendama DVD because I'm already good. But like, okay, Colin's edit 6 is on there, so I'll just buy it for that, like escape.
Yeah. And during that era, that's what it was for all the people who are like get into skating. Like, you had to go buy the DVDs. Usually, you had a gang of friends. You're like, okay, I'm gonna get that one. You buy that one, and we'll hang out and watch all of them.
Dude, that was like something also that like I guess you could say you kind of like borrowed from the Japanese players. Do you remember in 2012? I feel like you would have gotten one too. I just recently found them because I just moved some DVDs of Maruishi-san, who used to be the head of the JKA. And he had like his own tricks on these DVDs. And I think it's like the kind of same vibe where there's some instructional stuff, but it's also just like some old man, like 10th Dan JKA edit from 2010 or earlier, probably, Pretty sick. I assume you got those that year too, yeah?
Maybe. I probably did, but I feel like some of the stuff you'd like try to play it and it would be like format not valid. Like,
that's true.
Japanese
that
probably
DVD
makes sense.
Players,
but I did.
The region is different. Yep, to US.
That's true, yeah.
But
maybe in Canada it's the same.
I did like jumping ahead in time when I was making Mugens in the house. I did go through. I think I went through Tomotsu to get that like DVD, basically the footage of Kubota-san, like that like whatever the TV station did a special on him or something, and they sent like the full special, and then I pulled like some elements out of that for that edit. So
hell yeah,
that was a really cool video to like kind of come across. And I think it was like a year plus after I asked him to try to like start looking for it that he like found it. But yeah, there's some crazy OG like hidden videos out there for sure.
For real, man. Yeah.
So
that's some cool shit.
When you went to that what was it? Not Dama Fest. The one that you were invited to in Japan. The first one.
World Kendama Open.
World Kendama Open.
Fujiwara Issei Cup.
Yes.
This will be your first show and tell translation. I think this came up on Roish's episode too, maybe not.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you took it out. Yeah, Kendama Fest 2020.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Yeah.
Something. The 11th version. 11th.
It was the 11th year, yeah.
Like, getting players from around the world, and all the Japanese players. Okay, and then in Osaka, and where it was, World Open.
The World Kendama Open.
That was so that was fun. But
so did Kendama USA fly you out there?
Yeah. So at that point,
and it was just you from KUSA.
I think it was just me.
It was because there was only like I think 8 foreigners that weren't Mongolian.
Yeah,
there was like another 8 Mongolians, but like there's a picture somewhere of all of us.
Yeah,
it was like you, me, Eric and Brett from Canada, and then Nick Schofer was there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, Mushroom Kendama.
Dude,
gotta shout out Schofer.
Go do your homework.
There you go. There you go.
Like I feel like his second to last and last edits were like pretty fire.
Yeah, no, he always had some good shit.
Yeah, he always had.
He's a funny guy.
He did it all on Mugens too.
Yeah, I was gonna say the other Mugen Lord. Fucking
right.
I forget who I was talking to, but I think maybe you were there, Colin. But we were talking about how you and him really made the Mugen what it was, where it was like, it was just like another Kendama. Like there was Azoras, there's Mugens, but you and him specifically were like putting out a lot of content with Mugens and like we blasting them super hard. Like that shot in fucking edit 7 of like the red Mugen on the lunar spinning. It's like on a
yeah.
Dude, I'm glad that turned out so nice. I'm glad you guys liked that. Appreciating
that is imprinted in my memory because I remember being new to Kendama and seeing you do a fucking lunar, and I literally said, "Shut the fuck up! You can't do that." I was actually upset. I was upset. And then you did a flip or some shit, and I was like, I lost my mind, and I was like, what the fuck?
Shout out Nick Schofer though. I hadn't even thought about him or mentioning the name, but super deep Dama world. But he very much too like loved the beauty of the Mugens. He sold me a bunch of mine. Like
he
was also a rollerblader, so we had that connection. And I think he was also doing some video production and photo studio work and kind of got into that line of work.
I believe he's a photographer now, like professionally.
Yeah, he's definitely a talented guy, has a really good like aesthetic, and he like it's so true though. We were both like the Mugen like celebrators.
Dude, you were. You
found the high end shit and you're
like, it was kind of
just
to flex because we were like the only ones that had them. So we were just
But then it just became the thing though, because everybody had like a few people had Mugens, and we're all like, but like Colin and Schofer have like all the Mugens.
The chase for the emerald.
Chase for the emerald, dude.
Seeing Keith do a crazy like line on an emerald Mugen in Hawaii, I was just like, and I'm filming the emerald Mugen and Keith playing it, and I'm just like, dude, we made it, fam. Like,
dude, I was there when Keith got that Mugen. I actually did a trick on it before Keith even saw it.
Was I there with you? Was I there too? I don't know.
You might have been. It was at Miyajima Island, and it was like that year where Mugens were coming back, and Kazuma came with like his fucking steel briefcase, pretty much handcuffed to his wrist,
2013,
that contained the blue and the
earth blue
and the green, the two first Mugen Musos.
Oh, sparkling green,
and the sparkling green. That one was the sick one. The batch came out and they were all black as shit, but we don't got to get into that. I remember I was.
Still good.
Yeah, they were still dope, but there wasn't the same what we saw. But anyway, everybody was chilling over at this like little pier spot on the other side of like the Torty Gate or whatever. And I was like in the middle filming a trick when Kazuma walked by, and I saw him and he saw me, and we said, "What's up?" and whatever. And so he showed me the Emerald Mugen, and I did like I think there's a video of it actually, because I was filming a trick. So I'm pretty sure I was filming with Kristen, and she would have just kept filming. And I did like some rod shit to Lunar or whatever, and was like, and like spiked it, and I didn't go too ham. It's an Emerald Mugen. You don't just fucking that thing around, you know, like
you baby it.
Even I didn't throw a moon circle, you know, fucking. I didn't dare.
Scroll deep. Chrome Kendama's YouTube channel. They have a video called "Kendama's on Japanese TV." That's where it is. That's where it is.
Coming in clutch as always.
I know, because when I made my first appearance on Japanese TV featured about Kendama, I put it up on YouTube and I titled it "More Kendama on Japanese TV."
Nice.
That's how you find that shit.
But yeah, it's funny. Anyways, to finish that story, that was just like that happened.
I was on Japanese TV the first time of the many times.
Because once you do it once, it's like you're just in it. You know, they love that shit in Japan, dude. There's always a camera around, and
they love when there are people who are not Japanese who love stuff that is Japanese.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Kendama is a definitely very big one. Okay, so Edit 6 goes out as a DVD. Then you release Edit 7. 2 years after Edit 7, Edit 8 came out.
And Edit 8 was the real sort of next level up, next game changer of like, look, we've got a bunch of pro models that are like made.
That was the release of the pro models.
In the warehouse. Yeah, we need to like hype these up, sell them. Like Jiro, you know, all props to Jiro. He runs all of like the business side of that stuff, but we kind of just were like players that were very hyped and just ready to create something memorable to try and like share this with the world.
And you did.
But it's funny because going back, like the Damas were so haggard, but at the same time, like people were stoked on them. You could actually buy them, like, because you couldn't always get TKs and like,
dude, it was so hard to get a Dama back in the day. It was like
man.
It was easier to go buy drugs than it was to get a fucking Kendama, dude. At least in Canada, I mean.
Yeah.
But straight up, yes. I'm sure it was difficult, and like you guys also had, you know, the brand Kendama USA. You were the first to really, and as well as, you know, Colin, you were building that shit up before you even knew it, and I'm sure that's why Jero like looked at you and be like, "This is the only guy doing it." He seemed pretty passionate.
Yeah,
gonna continue pushing it.
Yeah,
as well as like the background again with the film stuff. Was that kind of put on? Did Jero ask you to do that? Who made the KUSA opening clack, clack, clack intro?
Oh, that was a good one. I always liked that.
I don't know who made the graphic for that. It was probably one of Jeremy's friends. He had some other production friends like in Atlanta too. That graphic was just like handed to me, but he was super hype. But for the pro model video, like we did it up right where like Jiro basically hired me to like direct and shoot the video, but I was also like, okay, people can come into Pittsburgh and like stay in my parents' house for like 5 days while we just like Dama like 10 hours.
Dom.
But we had like pre-production meetings. So me and my brother and my dad also have a production company that's called Ponce Productions, and that's what the sort of film and commercial stuff is done out of. And so they have like an office in Pittsburgh where my dad's kind of like working on developing like TV shows and feature films. And that's kind of our like pseudo family business, which is kind of separate in some ways from a lot of my like solo video production work and directing work. But sometimes it's through Ponce, and long story short, we got to kick it in like the proper offices in Pittsburgh and like sit there with like me and Jord and Turner, Jeremy. And my dad was there because he was just working, but wanted to sit in on it and be like, okay, what is the goal? Like, what do we want to cover? What are we making here? Like, you know, just get everyone on the same page of like, okay, you know, we want a bunch of hype tricks, but we want really crisp visuals. We want it to be about the product. It was sort of like the first KUSA like commercial project of sorts.
TV promotional video,
and it turned out super great, and like we definitely pushed ourselves, but very much like I feel like the visual aesthetic on that was like another level of cleanness, even up from Edit 7, because it helps so much to be like shooting someone else as opposed to self-filming.
Totally.
So it was just like, boom, okay, now we can get close-ups, now we can like help each other out. People can rotate in if they're not lacing. These two are going to film over here, we're going to go over there. But yeah, that super proud of that video, and it was really fun, and just like the energy, the colors, the wardrobe, like everything was like turned out great for being like a compressed example of like what Kendama culture is or was at the time.
Yeah. And like putting it more, making it, I don't know, more serious. As like this is the new skateboard, like this is gonna be the shit. Like everyone who knows about it, who loves it right now, understands that point, and is just so appreciative of the money, the budget that was put into it, as well as, you know, the quality that came out of it. And that's another thing that you can show somebody who doesn't know about it and be like, look at this shit, and they'll be like, oh damn, they'll take it a lot more seriously when you got a good amount of quality behind it, production behind it and stuff. So that was really good.
That's one of those projects too where like everyone did so awesome, but like by the end of the like 6 days or 7 days or whatever we were shooting, like everyone was kind of ready to like not be like grinding and be like, okay, we've wrapped, we've shot everything we can, we've like, everyone's grinded their tricks, like Jeremy's got to get back to Atlanta, Turner's going home, like, you know, we were so like in it. It was basically like 5 or 6 straight days of like living together, filming and like stacking clips, running around the city. So like, yeah, we definitely put a lot into it, and then but it did turn out awesome.
I remember so vividly the rooftops. Where was that?
The classic rooftop. Nerds homework. Yeah, we basically, all 3 of us for the intro, Moshe Kamed on top of this roof with like this crazy view. That's in Oakland, so it's like a little college town outside of Pittsburgh. But we had some friends who like lived in like a kind of party house there. And you would have to like climb out the 3rd story window to go onto this like sketchy 4th story roof, and they would just hang out there, drink beers up there, like just kick it. So I was like, we got to go to the roof because you could see the city like kind of uniquely from that angle. And I just thought it would like add sort of like a high energy, not like parkour, but like, okay, they're on the roof, I guess you can play there. Like it was kind of just like some cheeky like Dama humor, but yeah, it ended up being like kind of like an iconic shot from that.
Totally, because it's like, of course, one of the main things in Kendama play and Kendama edits are, yeah, the tricks, you know, but it can be so much more, like the place, the setting that you're in. So yeah, I think that's what
the vibe.
Yeah. I mean, that's what made the sunset from the opening of 7 stand out in people's minds. And for me, like the rooftops, I think I remember like on one time Skaggs, like on his story on Insta, just like video of like him like just like driving by that shit. He's like, yo, for the people who know, like, and he just you know, and I was like, Dad, those are the fucking rooftops.
Yeah. and our hilarious wardrobe just made it that much more like, what the hell's going on?
What was the wardrobe? It seemed pretty normal. It seemed like,
I mean,
like
it was
you guys,
kind of like you know,
skier vibes,
double XLTs, like neon colors, short shorts, tanks, you know.
Tanks, yeah.
Standard
issue.
I still have my orange tank top from Edit 7. It has like 20 holes in it, and it's like total garbage, but I won't throw it away because I'm like, this is my tank from Edit 7.
And nor should you. That thing should be in a fucking case, signed, and in the Sweets Museum. Eventually, you gotta make Sweets give you a good price for it, though.
Yeah,
and it'd be like, eventually we could all have a couple tanks in there. It'd be like the jerseys on the wall in fucking like the Hard Rock Cafe
like
or whatever.
A little frame from the edit.
Dude, yeah, we gotta make, somebody's gotta make like the Hard Rock Cafe equivalent of Kendama, and we'll just have like memorabilia everywhere. Be like people's Kendamas from this edit or that edit, like screwed to the roof, shit like that. You know, your Kotobuki Blue will just have a screw right through it, just into the fucking roof. You know,
no, you got to super. I'm
just kidding. We won't do that. I'm just kidding. No, we won't be putting a screw to the Kotobuki Blue. That won't happen.
So edit 8, the pro models. We had the sparklers, and like just the whole thing felt very like.
You get the posters, dude. Those posters.
The posters. It was great. It was super fun, and that definitely like launched us into the next era of like, okay, Jeremy was selling more kendamas, then he was ready to be like, let's do Japan for the next like pro release video, and then that's kind of where it all just expanded even further, and it was like, okay, that video people love. Now we're making the team bigger. Now we're getting in like tribe. Well, I guess it was tribute at that point, but then it flourished from like this journey of like all us in the core community having this breakout edit to then being like, okay, now it's going a lot bigger. There's people playing in other countries. It's time to like travel, get like promote it more, just really dive in and figure out like what the hell is going on with the actual kendama shapes and product. Because then it was like, the tribute thing was like slicing strings, and like, you know, you get eggy tamas, and so then all of a sudden it was like, oh my god, retooled, new product, like what's going on? And then, you know, that just birthed the whole cycle of like getting to the amazing shapes that we have today, and like
So for
edit stuff.
So releasing of the first pro mods. Before that, I'm sure you were playing plenty of tributes at that time. Classics. I think they were just tributes, no? From KUSA.
And I was still playing a lot of Uzora as well.
Yeah.
And like JKA Damas, but of the Kendama USA Damas, I think it was just called tribute at that point.
Yeah, and then did you have a hand in crafting a shape? Did Jero come to you asking about ideas? What do you have, or he just wanted you to make videos?
Not at that point. I definitely tried to. I think all of us, like, when we got the first pro mods, were like, okay, this is not the most honed Dama ever. We need to grind out this edit and but hit the next chapter after that. So as high level players, we kind of knew, we're like, look, this is Jeremy's first attempt at this. We weren't very involved in the shape and whatnot, but we tried. Then we started trying to help improve it and rehab it, and then it moved to a better place with sort of the thicker tributes, and then eventually normal press on serratos and the whole evolution.
Yeah.
Once we had I don't think it was until maybe cherries, we would weigh in verbally on the shaping, but we weren't doing the CAD drawings or exact measurements. So yeah, it was tough to get the product exactly where we wanted it, but it kept creeping in the right direction.
And was cherries, man. Those were bangers. I'll never forget those, because those were the first thing I think I ever saw from KUSA that weren't tributized. They were tributized, but there was ones that were released that weren't.
Yeah, some were.
Some
they
weren't.
did. Yeah. And I even thinking that one, they released another towards the end of it. They're we're bringing it back in, maybe not Kaizen, but
the
classic.
Ivy.
Yeah,
the Ivy shout out. Yo, let the nerds know about Ivy, just for these nerds that don't know.
Ivy, my actual frogs or the pro model?
Well, I mean, I guess both. That's kind of what I was thinking of, that little tidbit of the pro model, but
Quick diversion. I always loved frogs growing up, and they're super cool. They come in a million colorways. They're steezy. They got crazy eyes. Mm-hmm. But I actually had pet Costa Rican green and black tree frogs. The scientific name is Dendrobatidae auratus. It's basically a fairly I had these tree frogs. They were these awesome pets. I grew up with a bunch of different frogs. So, and we, back in the day, the struggle was always getting your Tama to be sticky. So my idea was go frog themed, make this thing as sticky and as rubbery as possible. And it's the froggy grip, the froggy color, you'll just suction your lunars on. Obviously, it's not that simple. People have been struggling since the dawn of time to get sticky paint and but it's, now there's so many good options. But
I was gonna say not anymore. Fuck, there's too much now. It's which one do you choose?
Yeah.
But Ivy was one of my tree frogs, and then I did a little engraving there, and it was the cherries.
Hell yeah.
But I don't have frogs anymore. But it was definitely a fun time in my life.
Before that, your first pro mod was yellow. Is that something that Jord wanted? Because I know he's a Pittsburgh and stuff. The yellow color is a big one. I know. You mentioned some of the reasons why you chose yellow in the end of edit 8.
Yes.
Does it still hold true? Lemons?
Yeah, it still holds true. I definitely I feel the yellow Mugen was super rare at that time too, and even yellow Zoras were rare. So I was it's hard there. And the yellow TK was either a highlighter yellow or was it? There was no yellow.
Yeah, it was a highlighter yellow. You're right.
Yeah.
So and that was even that was not run that long or something. But yeah, I basically was there are no yellows available, and I already like yellow, so it was kind of
there was the yellow sunrises. Those were nice.
Yeah,
I had one of those.
Yeah, you could find yellow Tamas, but
that
it was
over in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Again, the whole point of Kendama USA is to provide it for the USA.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally. To end from.
Yeah, that's and it's it's cool how they all had and Turner was purple, that was wet, whoa, purple. No one did purple.
Yeah,
before.
Dude. Yeah. Also that you mentioned that poster with the purple Turner mod in the Crown Royal bag. Well, it didn't say Crown Royal, but we all know it was a Crown Royal.
We all know it was
the minty, like
the mint ice cream.
Zach Yord one with the ice cream. And then like, the yellow Sander with the lemon.
The lemon on top, yeah.
That poster, if I'm not mistaken, was shot by Luke Evans of Grip Kendama. Am I wrong?
Yep.
Yeah, that's his photography. Hell yeah. That poster, I had that poster over my fucking stove in my old apartment in Calgary. I always remember that shit. I still have one, actually. It's like rolled up.
That's sick. I'm looking at it rolled up. Yeah, I have some old rolled up KUSA posters somewhere, but
how did somebody get those? How did you attain those? From buying the mod? Were you able to just buy the poster?
I think you could buy them on the site.
Yeah, I think you could buy them, but sometimes they just like put them in the order with you.
Yeah,
you would give them out. It was usually events.
Mine came from the events, I'm pretty sure, from Dama Fest.
Yeah, but kudos to Jiro too, because he always made some cool prints and posters back then, and they're like definitely like fun.
Totally.
Like
again, it's like those small things that like really make it feel more real. As like a company, as a real movement that's happening. It's not a kid's toy anymore. People say kids toy, but it's like no, it's taking levels up and stepping it up. And
it's still a kid's toy, but we're all just a bunch of big kids, you know.
True. It just has more like validity. Is that the word for it?
It's not a bad word for it.
Yeah. It's like it's sort of just things had reached its own sort of like cultural momentum where like it was its own subculture, and people didn't care if you didn't understand at this point, because like everyone who was in was already in
and all in.
Knew it was gonna grow, and just but that's those were kind of the early days, getting the first few pro models and then branching out to Japan and having these like super fun experiences and everything. But that's cool. As a good transition getting into Japan.
Exactly.
I have a couple of, I don't know if you can read.
Oh yeah,
this is faded, but I don't even know exactly what this says.
Oh, that's hardcore kanji. Something about Kai guy, maybe on the top.
I can't read a single one of those kanjis. Are those names?
No, it could be a name.
Maybe it says Colin. I think maybe this one has my name on it, but that could be wrong. I'm not sure exactly. This one is going to be more legible, but I can't still. Again, need translation.
That one's your name.
That's Colin
Sander.
Colin Sander.
Yeah. On an emperor, that's pretty fucking epic.
Right? See, look how tiny that fucking sticker is. Come on, guys.
Dude. Dude, I got an emperor. I'm looking at my emperor too. I got my emperor that trip as well. I got mine at fucking Top Gear.
Yeah, before we keep going on about like my whole journey, we definitely should. There's a few other things to nerd out over.
Episode 5-6 is all about you, Colin. Do whatever you want.
I'm showing a different kanji. I'm not sure what this says.
Hiroshima.
Oh, that was an
Nebari. Oh, yo, that's the fucking Mr. Imada's kendama.
Yeah,
I have one of those too. I have the blue one.
Dream.
Yume.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's from Imada-san, the guy who taught Tamotsu kendama.
Yeah. There's not a drill. There's not a drill through the back on the side of
a fucking screw.
There is.
Yeah,
you got the screw.
Yeah,
man.
Yo, I have the blue one, and it has a different kanji in it, I think.
Okay, so this.
Okay.
I don't know. This one's really deep. On some of my kendama trips, I've always tried to like find some beater damas that may be like historical elements. So don't know where or how I got this one, but there's some interesting kanjis on this. And also, I don't know if you guys, do you even recognize this seal?
Yo, dude, it says kendama in the main part on the bottom.
Yeah.
This is like a pre-Mount Fuji seal.
That's some old shit, dude.
Oh, on that bottom, I would need a better picture.
Hold on, see if you can read this.
Yareba dekiru kendama no waza. That's again.
Nice.
Yeah. That's like yareba dekiru. If you kendama no waza.
If you can do it.
As long as you try, you can do anything, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a
sense
bunch
of it.
beautiful engravings on this, but
dream.
Gambaro.
Like try your best.
Does it say Gambaro? Is there another one?
Gambaro. No, it's an U. Gambaro.
It's an U. That's why.
And then this might be hard to read, but
that's like that's a she. That's someone's. That's a town.
Yeah, this is a town. This is probably a town.
What city is that? Kendama. You stole that from someone?
Well, he's in the beater stash, and I was like, I think this needs to be preserved in a museum, because they were just like getting like chunked around by like
I'm sure that I What was the dude's name again?
Oh, it was in the beater stash. This is from
probably from like a school or something.
Imada. No, it's from Imada-san's
Sanz.
fucking shit, dude. He has a fucking
his dojo. Yeah.
No way, dude. You have fucking holy shit. Okay, yeah. So that is one of the craziest stashes of kendamas I have ever seen, and probably ever will see. It was like literally
like a bin of like a bunch
hockey
of
bag size bin of kendamas that all had been moshi kami'd so hard that the big cup was like gone.
Yeah,
like gone.
The
like
ridge,
you look at like the ridge where the bird sits. That shit was literally like a quarter of the size all the way around.
Ooh, maybe less. Kendama. Yeah,
this is a unique
on every one of those kendama. I can't believe you have one of those, Colin. You're an animal.
That's an
that one's definitely one.
That's an early JKA.
Early JKA, and then this.
Shit.
I think this is apparently pretty rare.
Oh, that's the original Fuji. That was before Shin Fuji. That was the original Fuji.
The Fuji.
Yep.
This is the Mount Fuji. Basically, the golden seal, for those that can't see, has like 3 points on it. So it's kind of
you have all red ones, yeah?
All red on these.
Nice.
Yeah.
Smith has a red collection too.
Right. It's just classic.
That's right.
Paying respects.
My kendama tattoo is red. The same thing. For a reason.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for, I don't know, cool damas. Then we can get back to just like fun stories. But this, I think, is a
that's a Kayaki Shin Fuji.
Shin Fuji, yeah.
Love this one. With a cherry mustard 5-cup Tama.
Oh, what the fuck?
There you go.
That's a crazy color from back in the day. Yeah.
I think it's cherry. It looks like it.
Like
it looks cherry-ish.
Yeah. It's darker.
Super clacky.
Yeah, that's sick. Dude, Shin Fuji was one of those companies that was like, if you got a good Shin Fuji, it was so sick.
It was good.
Yeah. But if you didn't, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
I really like the Roku Rosen stripe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One of the better like early designs for sure.
Yeah, right? Possibly adding into the tracking before anyone really thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have one of the red ones of those too, actually. It's good.
I also have this nice.
That's pretty sick.
I have a framed of all the different seals, the JKA seals.
Right. No, those are just the stickers you just peeled off of the Kens.
And when I was on like the Mugen Shin Sakura, I'm like, don't fuck up this peel. Like, and you can see actually the Mugen one has like a bit of like some picking at the side.
No, dude. You should have hit that shit with a hairdryer.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorite kendama.
That's dope.
Like,
that's pretty sick, actually. I like that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So we'll pause the show and tell time and get back to some more questions, stories, etc.
I want to go. Yeah, let's go. Let's travel to Japan.
Yeah,
the far distant land, the land of the rising sun, the land of kendama. We already heard about your first. Was that your first trip?
Yeah, my first trip was that quick trip to that invitational contest. And I think the second trip would have been to film the next Kendama USA
Spirit Animals,
which was in like the January after that. We were there in
about a
July.
year later.
It was less than that. It was like 6 months.
Yeah.
Because I remember Smith went, and I was like, me and Smith are both in Canada. We're homies. So like I went before him and he went right after me. That's how I remember.
Yeah, it was pretty quick. And we stayed in this awesome place. And I'm like not as good with all the different names and stuff, but I think Miyajima's the island. We went to this temple that's like the big wooden temple.
A Todaiji.
Yeah.
That's where you went. I remember the footage.
With the massive, the biggest Buddha statue.
And what city is that above?
That's in Nara.
It's like in the Nara area, but I think it's, I don't know.
Well, Tomotsu City, where we were probably staying, is Gojo.
Yeah. But anyway, we
Kobe around there. You got Kyoto in that area.
Yeah, it was above Kyoto. Okay, so we stayed in Kyoto. Basically, Jeremy, the Kendama USA company owner, he set up this awesome trip where we were going to film the next pro model video in Japan. And it was basically all via Kyoto because that's what he had heard. And Tomotsu was also helping collaborate on it of like, this will be the best film locations. It's really pretty and all this different stuff. So we posted up there, and that was kind of like my life-changing Japan trip because got to see how beautiful the temples were. We got to go to the bamboo forest. We really were like more immersed in the whole Japan culture. Whereas the first visit, we were just kind of like at a kendama contest.
We were on planet Kendama, dude.
Yeah, we were on planet Kendama inside like a, you know, I don't even know what you would call it. Some sort of business, like
a Japan bubble.
Yeah, we were in the city, we were in a contest, whatever. Then when Jeremy made the awesome trip that he collaborated with Tomotsu on for planning, we like saw all the scenic areas, went to the bamboo forest. We snuck into the bamboo forest to film some banger tricks.
Oh yeah, it left in the edit. I remember, I think like you or someone was like, just go.
Yeah, and they're like running in. You can see them running out, and we really lucked out with that and got to film in there for like 90 minutes, probably, maybe even more. Like we were being pretty quiet. Everyone knew, like, look, don't get busted, but like we need to like stack clips in here.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that was so dope. The Turner with like that fucking hand roll to the whip to the Ken, so it fucking barrels.
And then we went to the amazing temple, and that trip was really cool too because my wife Tori got to come with, and she was kind of taking some behind the scenes photos, but also just like Jeremy was like, you should bring Tori. This is going to be a cool experience. She kind of got to also see the team dynamic and help out, and it was just a really positive like memory for us.
And the team at that time for everyone was?
It was me, Turner, Yord, and Alex Smith.
As pros.
As pros. So it was the four of us.
Tribute team was around? Not yet. This is 2012.
Yeah, the tribute team I think did exist at that point.
So I think so too, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was small though. I think it was only like Dave and...
Yeah, I think it was probably Dave and...
a couple.
Maybe Haley at that point, maybe not.
I was thinking Haley too. TJ for sure, I think.
TJ was...
Or Weens.
Weens was before Haley.
I think Weens...
I believe.
Did Weens go straight to pro? No, he was on...
No,
No, I feel like it would have been Dave, Weens, and TJ maybe.
Yeah, in that area.
Yeah, I feel like there were a couple of tribute team people, but either way, the four of us went. The temple up on the hillside there is just like so beautiful. They have this like flowing water coming down. It was just, I had done some travel to different countries, but you know, as like a young 20-something, just being like, oh my God, this is a completely different culture. It's super beautiful. Like we really just loved it. And like, I feel like that came across in the video, and just, we showcased so much of the beauty, and it really was like a life-changing trip of sorts.
Yeah.
Where it was like a good mixture of fun, travel, sightseeing, but also like stacking clips and then, you know, getting the work done.
Getting the work done.
And like Smith, I'll never forget Smith taking like 2.5 hours to hit this late Ken flip out of the moon circle.
Oh yeah.
And like the Dama was destroyed, and we're all in there, and it's like 3:30 a.m. Japan time. Who knows what time it is like in the States? And like I'm just like melting into the corner trying to film. Like my back's like cramping up.
Yeah.
Me and Yord are like passing it off back and forth. And we're all kind of like reaching this low point, and like he finally hits it, and we were like, yes, like he was like, guys, I feel bad. And we're like, no, like none of us have anything. Just keep going. And just like people are like going to bed. Smith's just like sweating, just trying this insane
grinding
like, moon circle late flip. And then the next morning, everyone was kind of like not that. Like everyone was kind of worn out from shooting, and like Smith keeping us up till like 2 a.m. But then like basically Turner came through clutch and like ended up hitting this borders balance flip within like 10 minutes of starting to film it or something, 15 minutes, maybe less. And then once Turner did that borders balance flip with like perfect lighting, perfect everything, I think he redid it like 2 or 3 times for us to get the clip. And like once we stacked that, we were like, okay, this edit's about to be insane.
Hell yeah.
That
was insane. That was one of those moments, man, when you never forget it. You see it and you're just like, wait, what the fuck? And like literally like the same thing like I was saying with your lunar flip when I first saw it, and I was like, fuck that. Like, no, you can't do that. It's like same thing, seeing that. You're like, what do you mean? First you bounce it on the spike, which is already fuck you. Yeah. And then you do a flip? No, dude. No, dude. You can't do that.
Yeah. I really like how you capture that moment in so many different areas. Of course, you have the main edit itself. Then you have, I believe, like a 2-hour uncut just shenanigans behind the scenes, and then
that was great.
That's one of the better edits, man.
And those are that's Kendama USA.
Yeah,
yeah.
I shouldn't call it an edit because it's unedited. That's the whole point. But like,
and especially
videos.
For the people who know the Japan homies, and you get to see them, Kubota in his suit almost the whole time and his button up and shit. But
dude, Tomoto back in the day was very different. It's very funny.
Yeah, it was different. But Colin, you made one edit that's called "One Day in Japan."
Oh, classic.
Which is
a good one.
Also really, really good. And again, like a lot more chill, and there's a lot more vibes of it just taking in the culture about it. And I thought that was really, really dope. How you just solidified. You explaining right now how it was such a big moment for you of the team going to Japan and shit, and being able to capture and see it in like these different vantage points. So that is amazing. But I would like to ask a question. At the end, you're like, to be continued, ... Is there a part 2? Let's go back 2012, my friends.
I think that just meant, I think it was because we were going to be like back. We knew we were going to be going back.
Yeah, okay.
I think it was kind of that. It was more of like, look, this isn't going to be like
a one and done.
Like this is we're coming back. But yeah, the One Day in Japan edit, it kind of blends like some more documentary and like travel style shooting with like the actual kendama tricks, and it's kind of like a longer form edit. And that was always one of my favorites too, because it just like you can hear a lot more of the sounds, and it just really shows you like what like one day in Japan, if you're like walking around jamming Dama, like what it could be like. Obviously you could do something that's way more urban, you could go to a group jam, but that was kind of like the vibe we were looking for at the time, which was just like peaceful parks, like different like temples, like sessioning by like a stream.
Yes, by the stream, dropping Damas in the river.
What trip we were actually on for filming that one, or if I filmed it in parallel with the pro video, but it was like the extras of everyone who like wasn't on the team. But I think it was a separate trip. Maybe.
You know what? You're right. Because Roush is in it. And Ross is in it. Yeah. And that's when you guys went to Todaiji, the main temple in Nara with the massive Buddha.
Yeah, that was really stunning to see in person.
Mm-hmm. It's a good place, man.
For any of the nerds that are out there that still haven't been, I mean, just make a trip to Japan. It doesn't really matter which spot.
KUSA.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's life changing.
Serious, the motherland. If you're a kendama player, it's the travel. It's the travel that you need to make.
Yeah.
Let's go back to going to Japan, doing that edit, because you came up to Tokyo as well, no? Because I remember the clip where Smith does the scramble to grabbing the string, having the bass cup hit it, and it falls back into airplane with Mount Fuji in the back. And that's in between where you are in Kyoto and Tokyo. So you guys traveled up?
Yeah. And I think what happened on that was, I feel like because of work or something, I had to go back before the last stretch, which was they were going to see Fuji, or like they were going to fly out of Tokyo. And I think most of the shooting, because I was kind of like the A camera, it was like we had done it and canned it all, but they were going to still like have this Fuji experience, and they, I think, flew out of Tokyo. So I missed like the last like 2 or 3 days of the trip because of like having to get back to the States for something. But I think, so I forget if it was Yord or probably Jiro probably filmed that clip, but that was a really awesome, like they definitely stacked a couple more clips like on the way out before the trip was over.
No, that was so dope. And then like, meeting up with the other kendama homies in Tokyo, like on a street corner, like busting out tricks, and then you see like crowds of people like drunk, be like, whoa, get all stoked on it and shit.
The classic Japan vibes, man. You gotta love that shit.
It's
insane.
It's still real.
Oh yeah, I can't fucking wait to come back, dude.
It's crazy to think that some of those were like 9-10 years ago. Like, I don't know. We had I made that other edit for Glowken that was like was it the Mugen Muso trip?
Yeah, the Muso tour.
2014. That
would
have been next trip.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like Ken brought me as a filmer, so I don't think it wasn't like a KUSA thing. So it was kind of more for like, you know, Mugen Muso. But that was a really fun trip too. And then it just seemed like we're just going back occasionally now. And then I think it was I don't know if it was 2014 or 2015 that like I helped Wyatt get on the team. He won that year, but I wasn't going to go because I was
15.
like busy working and shooting. And I was just like, I can't go this year.
Right.
But yeah, so I think 2014 was the last year I went to like.
That was 2014 was the first Kendama World Cup. Bonds took that one.
Yeah.
13, before it got colder, is when I think it was like late or mid fall or something. And that's when, the Mugen Musos were released. Everyone was fucking going wild. Like, wait, he's coming back.
He's back.
Holy
He's back.
shit. It was an insane experience. And then to have it linked up with, Crom, Sweets, KUSA peeps coming over to Japan to also be involved in it. And, having that Muso tour and when Gloken did. And that's when I signed up for that tour. We had that sleepover in that cottage and shit. That's when I met you guys and everything.
Yep.
And that was like when I first saw like firsthand like how like shit was real on the film side of it.
Like how the Spawn filming goes, and it's like, okay, you're in. What's your trick? Like I'm standing here, like
yes,
grind it. Okay, it's been like 7 minutes. You didn't get it. You're trash. Get out. Like next person in.
Switch off.
7 minutes.
Right.
Fuck, I wish.
It was nuts. As well as like people like we woke up a bit early, to go out and to see also just the equipment, that fucking camera that you whipped out. I was like, yo, that's a real like that's a real camera. Holy shit.
Yeah. We definitely like we're trying to keep the aesthetic level like high. But it was like I was basically already professionally freelancing as like a filmer, DP.
Okay, yeah. And that was really because I was in my mind, I was just meeting you guys for the first time. I saw stuff online and stuff, so I wasn't sure like how much of it was from KUSA or how much of it was from you yourself.
Yeah, so that kind of goes back to all the way like me. I think around that year was when my dad and my brother and I had kind of started up the production company that's like focused on narrative and TV, and they're doing some cool stuff. My older brother just like wrapped shooting and finished. They're like in the edit on a feature film they just made that was like another indie. That's their lead is a guy that was this guy Matthew Modine who's in Stranger Things, and they like it's a cycling story that they optioned from Bicycling Magazine and turned into a film that's about these like underprivileged youth who are at like a youth incarceration facility, and then they take them on this like formative bike ride across the country. And there's like the whole movie side of like my kind of like work life and like the family business like goals and the production company. But yeah, that spilled over. Like it was helpful for KUSA to basically have access to just like the creative, some of the gear, like all that stuff. It was kind of just like helping through me and my freelance stuff. But Jeremy would, pay me for trips to like shoot and like deliver the edit. It was never anything crazy, and didn't want to make it like to the point where it's like at a detriment to the Kendama USA because my rates were high. But like, so I would make it reasonable, but Jiro would pay me to basically be the shooter and then deliver the edit. So it was fun. Still, I'll jump in and like shoot stuff for people, and like even more recently, like whenever it comes up where it's like in alignment, I'll shoot stuff for people. Like I shot Wyatt's like no jumper pro video, but like
nice.
that like Talkfield was here. Shot some fun stuff in like done
with
some Chrome stuff.
Yeah.
So there was kind of a point after a few years of going back to Japan and doing all the KUSA stuff where I was like, I need to kind of focus more on like production work outside of Kendama, and not to be like it basically was at a good point to where people are doing so much cool creative stuff. Everyone's making their own edits. It's amazing. But like the amount of work put in to make this quality of edits, like it was time for me to kind of like step away and move towards like my full like career trajectory and like doing more music videos, commercials, all that stuff. So I kind of that was sort of once like I got like Wyatt on the team was a lot bigger, the level of play starting to get higher. I was like, okay, I need
the champ, the cup.
Yeah. So I just kind of like, and obviously I always would keep like a mentor type vibe presence within like the team dynamic, but as far as like shooting and creating for KUSA, I tried to like step away at that point to just like have some space in my life from Kendama, and like, which it felt like it was kind of overtaking, but it was like kind of in a good way, because we'd be going to Japan multiple times a year, and then like traveling to Hawaii, going to other states, or like doing a Roots tour, and I was like, I kind of had got to live the entire like Kendama adventure journey. And then once I had done a couple of years, I was like, okay, I think I need to consciously like try to leave space for other people to grow into it and, find their role and fill into it. And also just like explore more opportunities, like, with video production and shooting and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seemed like it worked out well because, Weens was right there, and then TJ as well. They picked up the camera and did really great stuff with it to keep it rolling.
And I really put in like a ton of work into the Weens pro video, which we like shot super deep, and same with like Dave's pro video. And it definitely like, I'm so happy and like proud of all those different things, and they're all kind of unique in their own way, but they definitely like, by the end of like shooting a full section for someone and making it, you're like, I need to not talk to you for like 2-3 weeks. Like we like, so like the brain trust on this like every day, that it's like, you eventually kind of need space and just time to like rebuild the stove.
Yeah. I mean, it's especially with Kendama tricks and how it's that grind.
Yeah.
For those people who are trying to get this trick, and it's not only a grind for the person doing it, but you're sitting behind a fucking camera, crouched down,
dude,
sure everything's rolling.
That. You're doing the same shit. It's just different muscles, different movements. Like you were saying when you were filming Smith, and you were saying you're sitting there, you're melting, your back was aching, but you're just fucking in it. You're like, I'm gonna get this fucking clip. Like that's what's up, man. The filmer deserves all the credit when it comes to that kind of shit, because it's like the same amount of work, like you're saying.
Yeah, it kind of, and to kind of dive deeper into that, like the player filmer dynamic / relationship, you definitely need to kind of be in balance. And like, I know in Ballard's episode, he said some really nice stuff and kind of delved into it super full on. But the player wants, like, for everyone who's just in the game now, just trying to crush it. I mean, you can self-film too for like your heaviest bangers, where you're like, this is gonna take me like super long.
Unless you got a homie who's really down.
Yeah, but yeah, it's, the player can respect the filmer's time. The filmer can respect the player by not like, sometimes I'll give commentary or give adjustments and stuff, but sometimes they just need like quiet for like 4 minutes.
Or like, sometimes they need the hype, or sometimes like you said, the quiet.
Exactly. Yeah. You kind of have to feel into like what people are needing at that moment, what's appropriate given the spot, and all that kind of stuff. But
it really is like a fusion moment, like you were saying. Like it takes some time for you to like separate the brain and shit. It's like that's what I was thinking. It's like it's really a fusion. It's like some Dragon Ball Z shit. You're doing the dance, you're putting the fingers together, and then that moment fucking happens, and then you're like, oh, sick, that was sick. Okay, I'm gonna need to go over here for a bit. I'm gonna go get a burrito, by myself.
Space. So you mentioned tribute team, and we understand that the pros chose people to become tribute players and started bringing more tribe, people. Right? Tribe, sorry, yes, you're right. Tribe, bringing people on the tribe team, making KUSA a bigger thing, adding more players. What was it like meeting Wyatt for the first time on the KG Roots tour?
So Wyatt was like a ball of energy that was like kind of chaotic and kind of intense, and like kind of like I was kind of taken aback, but also like couldn't look away, because he was just like so hyped up and like so caffeinated and had his own slang, and was like had really interesting
Sold of Mountain Dew mixes Red Bull.
That's exactly like Wyatt, man. I was gonna ask the same question because I was like, I feel like there's a good story there about the first time you two guys
he was like
met.
super spastic, and I was just like, oh, this kid's like a heavy glitcher. He's gonna be like lacing bangers and like totally like. And then I saw him play, and I was like, oh my god, you're really good. But he had some girlfriend at the time that was like super cute and pretty, and I was like, okay, you're kind of hags, and you're like pulling this awesome, really attractive girl, so she's into you. So like, I was just like I was like, somehow Wyatt's like at this park with like baggy pants, his like whatever, like Monster Energy or something, super cute girlfriend, like 4 Damas, and I was like, okay, this dude, core Portland, like what the hell is this? Yeah, but he's more of like, little did I know he'd be more of like a firecracker of like, you know, if you're gonna play with fire, you might get burned, but he's still like, he challenges me. He's an awesome guy. He's fun, but we definitely like have had our beefs, like even between each other and just different tough times, and like, but we worked through a lot of stuff, and like, you know, I think he really appreciates that I ended up filming like his like pro video for No Jumper, so like we're tight and like go way back. But yeah, I saw his Kendama play in Portland on KG Roots tour, which is where I also met Haley for the first time. But I was like, yeah, this kid's basically as good, if not better, than every one of the pros like on that trip. So yeah, I just kind of got in the back of my mind. I was like, okay, he's probably like the best player in Portland, but like he's low key better than the rest of like the entire team. So like I just like kind of put a bookmark on like knowing him or meeting him.
Yeah.
And then I think we reached out like a couple months later, like after the tour, or I was like, make an edit and like, let's get you on the team, yada, yada. But you know, even before that, it was also like TJ and like, yeah, Haley, just, yeah, so many good friends, so many like awesome times. But I
was going to ask, yeah.
It kind of seemed like Haley, I met Haley and Wyatt both at that same jam.
And was Haley already on the tribute team at that point?
No,
I didn't think so. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
was that also like Haley's introduction to Kendama USA? Like, was that the first time she met any of you guys?
I think she was playing enough that she kind of like knew of like the personalities and like the company.
Yeah. But it was like, the first time you guys actually like met and like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
and
cool.
Really, like, she had a Slack line up, or someone had it up, and she was teaching us how to Slack line. And I had never been on a Slack line before, so that was really memorable for me, and I like really enjoyed it. And I'm not like super deep into it now, but I'm like semi-proficient.
Nice. That's something I need to do more. I've always really liked it, and I respect the shit out of it. And it's like,
it's so fun.
Yeah, look, it is so fun. I don't practice it, and I'm bad at it because I don't practice it, and I just need to do it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I kind of, you know, went through my own personal journey, did all this creative work, helped kind of get the hype going, and then at some point the team started getting big enough that it was like, look, this is taking on kind of a life of its own, and I'm still happy to be like present and like influencing, or, you know, talking with the team and helping make sure the dynamic's all good, but like stepping back to leave space for the next generation to like come in and just do their thing.
Hell yeah.
So was that how did that feel? Did you have to like break that on Jero and the rest of the team, be like, hey, you know?
Well, damanerds, this is probably, some people know about this, but this is like damanerds scoop. But me, Turner, and Jord actually like shot a retirement edit and like put it together, and it's like, it was pretty fire. And then like there was like a YouTube issue with like the song, but like the cut was like really committed to the song, and then I got tied up in other projects and stuff. So like we kind of made a full retirement edit, but just like never ended up dropping it.
When was that? And what year was that?
Yeah. But it was kind of later. I feel like it might have been like 2017.
Right after the Pro Mods, the last release of the Pro Mods with you guys.
It was definitely after that, right?
It's like, yeah,
this was, it was like a while down the road. Well, actually, so we were considering doing something kind of like that Sweets was doing at the same time with like the Legend team, where we we had come up with our own term. I won't say it now because maybe we'll just expand into it. But basically, about the same time, we were like, we need to
Quakers.
have yeah, exactly.
The Quakers.
No, I believe it was called Kendama USA Legacy.
Oh, okay.
So, but it was weird because Sweets hadn't come out with the Legends team yet. So we had this term Legacy that was going to be our like heritage players.
Yeah.
But then like in the process of making it, then like Sweets had started the Legends team and we're like, this just seems like we're biting, even though we weren't. Like,
right. It happened so much in Dama. Yeah.
So I feel like we just naturally became KUSA Legacy, but like, who knows? We may drop.
I was gonna say. So where is this? Where is this fucking edit? That's what I want to know. Where is this fucking edit? I feel like I might have seen.
I bet you might have seen it.
I feel like I've seen it. I think I was at some sneaky. There was some sneaky shenanigans once where we've watched it. I think.
Yeah.
But
and it's a chill edit. It's nothing like game changing. It's super fun.
But it's not about game changing. It's about seeing the guys who we all have lived up to for years, who are like, their last little fucking, maybe not last hurrah, but you know what I'm saying?
It kind of was, yeah.
That's fucking sick. I want to see that.
So guys, I think we can do an exclusive password link for the Patreons.
Oh shit!
And
that's epic.
Yeah,
that's epic as fuck.
So it's a fun edit. But then, so since we didn't end up dropping it, we didn't end up like retiring. Now it's like, okay, now I actually have a new edit coming out like semi soon. Not to like pre-scoop, but like, yeah, I've kind of graduated.
Scoop away, bud. Scoop away.
Yeah, here's a tiny spoon.
I've graduated to sort of the legacy era where it's like we're connected through all this history to KUSA, but obviously not on the level of like the amazing players that are crushing now, and Kenyatta and Zach and like just like Nobu, Logan, they're all like the actual pros, and Haley that are just like crushing day in day out.
Right.
But
I mean, they're keeping the flag going, but it was you guys who fucking built that flag,
right? And so I do have I kind of like to dip into the culture here and there by like helping people shoot, but keeping it kind of under the radar. But yeah, I do have.
We see you on the IG stories, on the clips here and there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not, at IG. It's amazing, like how players have just like taken to IG and just share in such a great way, and just the absolute crushers, and like Gallagher.
Dude, it's a lot, man. It's like it's almost too much to watch. Like I literally can't see it all.
Yeah, and I used to track a lot of the people, and like obviously like Alex Mitchell, Gallagher's, everyone just posting insane bangers. It's really awesome. But I had to I took like a semi-personal break from social media for like a couple years because it was just like starting to creep in terms of like, am I doing this for social? Do I feel like obligated to do this? The whole like Meta and like Facebook thing, and being like, these companies are kind of just like, it's just, there's a lot going on there. And I think I really got to enjoy how beautiful like the Kendama community is through all that. But then just to try and level up with like some personal stuff, work, focus on my life and everything, I was like, okay, I need to take like a year or two off of social media.
Yeah.
But
that's good, man.
But I think I'm going to come back just for like, I've got so much like unpublished video stuff I could share, like stuff from amazing trips. And then my life kind of took a different direction into sort of climbing and skiing and more of these like adventure sports. Was kind of back to my roots, so to speak, even before Kendama. So I've kind of come like full circle.
Back to Willie's.
Yeah, back to like, so now, since like 2016, I think 2016, I had this like life-changing summer where I like climbed all these peaks in the Sierra Nevada and California and started doing some more serious rock climbs, and then backcountry skiing. And then
hell yeah,
all of a sudden it's like in the summer, I'm just like planning crazy climbs. And like in the winter, we're just going out chasing snow. And yeah, you see like Zach Yord also very into it too. He's a crusher, like snowboarder, snowboarder. And like Kendama will always be with me and be a part of.
It's funny, Turner as well.
Life. Yeah, Turner crushes too. Yeah. But yeah,
sorry to interrupt.
As I kind of faded out as Dama being my main thing, I kind of transitioned into these sort of like adventure sports of backcountry skiing, rock climbing, and those have taken me to some just absolutely amazing places. It's definitely influencing sort of my photography and video work now. And I'm wanting to kind of get more into more action sports cinematography, adventure cinematography, doing documentary and commercial work in like challenging locations at, snowy mountains, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where my life has gone sort of like post Dama. And I shared a lot of that on social for a while, but I feel like there was a point where I was kind of like questioning my motivations, but just wanting to like step back and reassess like why you're doing things, why you're sharing things, and how to be like respectful of stuff. And I think like going through the pandemic was kind of intense in that I was still doing a lot of these things that I loved, and it just felt sort of like hollow to be like, everyone's going through some really heavy stuff, and like, it just doesn't feel right to keep being like, yeah, but this is still amazing, and like, I'm having a good time. So just like figuring out how to circle that like creative reality of like, what is, what's the stuff people should be sharing or what really benefits the community and stuff. And I just like figured I need to take some time away, but it's cool to see how like full the online community is now, with everyone stacking clips and supporting each other and, commenting on people's stuff. It's definitely, there's a lot of positives there too.
Absolutely. I think that's a cool way to look at it, man, because that's something that I think about a lot too, as somebody who's been like posting on, social media for a long time. And like just putting up clips of kendama tricks and shit. It's just, I have asked myself the same questions. Like, what the fuck am I doing this for? Like, it's not like,
it's almost like an amazing sort of journal and video journal sorts, but also you can see back on what you were feeling, your emotion, all that stuff. It is a great, it's a great song at the same time, but
totally. And for me, it's more of like a question I ask myself when I'm like struggling with it, when I'm like grinding on a trick and I can't fucking do it and I'm frustrated, or like if I'm having a technical issue, which I often have, where I'm like trying to like edit something and then all of a sudden my computer crashes and all this shit, and I'm just like, oh, why do we even bother? Like kind of thing. It's like those moments are more so, but I think it's a really good reminder to always just think about that, like you can and should every once in a while take a step back, whether it's for a day, a week, a year, whatever you need to really like center yourself and just come back and be like, okay. And then not only is that like good for you mentally, but I think it's good for the entirety of it, because if you come back with this fresh energy and it's like you had like a moment to recharge, and then now you're here again with that same passion, that same tool, and you're just here again to do it for another time, but like with a fresh perspective almost, right?
Yeah, totally. And I think that's like a lot of what Kendama teaches too, is like you're very intentional with your movements. You're very like focused, and there's a reason why you want to like tug it a certain way. There's an intentionality to how you're going to catch different angles and stuff. And I think Kendama can teach us like so many different lessons, and it definitely has for me, both like athletically and as like a sport, but also just like as a person and like culturally and just different things with attitudes, not giving up, all that stuff. But like with anything, whether that's like how much time you're on Instagram, your diet, your exercise, whatever, if you're bringing some like intentionality to it, like you will continue to improve and continue to like get honed and just be in like a good place where you're like, wanting to always keep sort of like positive momentum and that whole like Kaizen philosophy of constant improvement. There's so many lessons that like cross over from the actual Kendama play to like your actual lives, that I feel like through all the travels, through all the videos, through everything, I kind of learned and internalized a lot of those, and like then was able to just like bring it out to my broader life. And like Kendama helped me get better at tennis. Kendama helped me get better at meeting people. It helped me get better at like other athletics, like skiing even, because you learn how to like watch things really carefully or like have really intense focus. And just, yeah, it's been nothing but like blessings from Dama. But
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely like it's good to remember to tie those into just like every facet of life and not just like be on the grind super hard for this one specific trick, when in reality it's just like the whole experience of playing is like more than enough.
Oh, totally. And I mean, there is something to be said about that grind. When you are that motivated, you're that passionate, and you're just in that fucking shit, and you're just like, oh, sweating. You've already taken 3 layers off, and you're like, fucking, you hurt, and you're just like, fuck, I'm 3 hours in, but I'm so fucking close. I'm gonna get this fucking trick. This is gonna happen now. This try, or so help me. You know, like, yeah.
Dama, I've definitely had my cases of Dama rage. And
oh yeah,
in like edit 3, edit 4, there was like one particular night where we like started filming at like 10-11 p.m. and whenever we were still like trying to grind stuff out, the sun had literally come up, and we were just like, what? Like, how are we still here? It was like 5:40 a.m. and we're like, guys, we gotta call it. Like, we got what we got. Like, but I've definitely sessioned through till the sun came up like a few times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's like a pretty common KWC vibe, I feel like, when you're in the Omotenashi hostel and we're all just down in that room, just having some drinks, emptying that fucking beer machine, and fucking just playing weird games of Ken, you know, like shit like that. Like, yeah, the sun comes up and you're just like, well, another game of Ken or what?
Right. You're just happy that you didn't qualify and you can just chill.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that is the blessing.
Right.
It's a different game for some people, you know. Some people go to events to compete. Some people go for the hangouts kind of thing. Some people go for both, but you know, it's hard to do both. I guess at this point, if you're trying to like seriously compete, you have to be like top level. Like, for the most part, if you're like a real competitor, we already know who you are. Yeah, you know, like there's no like secret dude who's just gonna come out of nowhere and just like shred Alex Mitchell. You know, like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but wasn't Max? Wasn't Max like that?
Max Angel?
Yeah, no?
Dude, Max Angel's been playing like
forever. There was somewhere where possibly from like review, I think Adam was saying how like there's someone who like didn't have an Instagram or some shit, and then they came to this comp and then they just was like, what the fuck? Like, where are you from? And I thought that was Max. No?
I mean, Max Angel has been playing Kendama for like, I think as long as me, honestly.
And was
maybe
posting
even longer,
actively?
A little bit, yeah. He was like this tiny little kid back in the day, man. He was out in Eastern Canada. Probably had a funny accent back then. Love you, Max. My little angel.
Oh, no.
But anyways,
yes, let's hook it back to Japan, dude. Let's
Yo, I got a good Japan question. Can I just interject real quick? Because it's really funny, and I thought about it earlier, and I just remembered. So we're going back to 2012, Colin. I was talking about the first time I see you come in the room, and I'm just like, oh, it's Colin Sander, and we're at this event, and there's like Alex Roush, holy shit, I was fucking Jeffrey Van Rasta, and like fucking Nick Schofer, and all these people. Like, that was pretty much it, actually, of people that I knew. And then Void was there, and Void, actually. Obviously Void.
The Void.
Void was not here for this particular situation I'm about to bring up, but that night, I believe,
has he been on the podcast?
He has not, but he is on the list for damn sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. But anyway, so it was either the night, I think it was 2 nights after, or something like that. Anyways, this is something that everybody who goes to Japan for the first time, maybe second time, kind of experiences, and a lot of Westerners are very weirded out by it, and it's the onsen.
Okay.
So I found this to be a funny moment for me. I don't know how. I wanted to ask how you felt about it, because we were fucking, all of a sudden I'm like meeting, like I said, Colin Sander, Alex Roush, Jeffrey Van Rieven, fucking Nick Schofer, all this shit, and then all of a sudden we're all just naked in a tub together, and I've never done that before, you know, like, and then all these dudes I've just like known from the internet, and I'm like, holy shit, it's this dude. Holy shit, we're naked in a tub together. This is, you know, like, it wasn't weird.
I think we
were
just
a funny moment, you know, like, to think about.
That's classic. I definitely because I had an older brother who was 1 year older, so I basically like shared a room with another guy for my entire life.
Yeah. But I had a younger brother, so
I was never someone who was like always going to be walking around naked, whatever. But I remember being like, okay, yeah, I guess we all just get fucking balls naked now.
Yeah.
But, when you're there experiencing the culture, and it was an amazing onsen. Like everything was
so
out
good.
Of stone. Like it was very clean. Like
they had that waterfall shower thing.
Yeah, we were like outside.
That
it was definitely a peak experience. Yeah,
that was super
about
sick.
that, but.
Dude, yeah, I always thought that was a funny thing. I like fresh after meeting all of you dudes for the first time. Yeah. Like there's this epic thing, like meeting
in a hot tub,
and then all of a sudden we all just fucking take our clothes off and get in a tub, and I'm like, what the? Okay, like I never, in a million years would I have ever seen that coming. Like, just being from Canada,
you're just like
where the onsen isn't a thing, right? So and I'm down with it. Don't get me wrong, like it's great, and but it was just a really funny moment. Just like this, like. I guess culture shock, with the added I don't really want to say starstruckness, but a little bit, I guess, because it's just the way it is.
I had this moment. I think it was the next trip, but that I remember when it wasn't the first time we had met, but it made a big impact on me, where I was kind of starstruck by you, which was, I had done some like stretching, some yoga classes in LA, done yoga, whatever. But me and you were filming a trick on one of the Japan trips, and you did a half moon pose to warm up for the or to stretch, which for people that know yoga, half moon is basically you're standing on one leg and one arm, and you put one arm in the sky and the other leg straight back. It's like pretty difficult, but if you're like a intro level yogi person, like it's a normal move, whatever. But I had never done a half moon at that point in my life. Like I had made into 1 or 2 yoga classes, and Rod just popped into it with like a Dama in his hand, and he stretched one side, then he stretched the other side. And like, I was just looking at him, and I was just like, I was like, it's so amazing that he can just find that like alignment pose. And I was like, oh, okay. Rod's like honed. Like, and I was like, it was just something I would never think to do before a trick, but it was so obvious that I was like, okay, Rod's flexible. He's like athletic. He's just like getting the blood flowing. And then you whatever the trick was. But I remember like you were in your baggy circus pants and like.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
We're just doing the half moon like as a real quick body juice.
Doing the old Ardha Chandrasana.
Yeah.
That's the Sanskrit name for it. F1.
That's probably like when when everyone had like the sakura pearls just hanging.
Dude, I still have mine. It doesn't get played outside of my house.
But
film yourselves, people. I mean, you can learn from it. It's just like if you were a pro tennis player, your coach is gonna film you, and then he's gonna like dissect it, like just for mechanics, for everything. You're like a high-level skateboarder. You're stacking clips. You learn from it. You pick up subtle things. Definitely, there's a time and place to like step away from social media or be like, I don't need to do this for the camera. But there's so much positives that come out of just like creating and shooting that I definitely encourage everyone in the community to just like keep making your own creative projects. And
I even think like even more than just learning from yourself, learning from other people to see like, oh shit, they do it that way. Maybe that could help me in my style or my play. That's how I always see it. Like it's just like an inspiration or just a different type of technique that could be easier. It's like, how some people just are better at inward whirlwinds compared to like normal. It's like, I don't know, I just did it that way a lot easier.
Yeah, totally. I always think of it as like, the kendama itself has a bag of tricks. There's a realm of possibility, like theoretically. Yeah. And within that realm, we all fucking throw in whatever we feel we can achieve, And like once it's in there, it's fucking in the ether and it's available to all of us,
Yeah.
But like, for example, something like if you look at Fringe Case, that was a year and a half of Ben Harold saving up fucking ideas before sharing them. Right? And then he fucking waited and just blasted that, just dropped that fucking gem on the community.
It was so awesome.
Nobody saw it coming at all.
I don't think I had been to a NACO or an MKO in like years, but I got to go to that one by chance.
That was
when
one of
he
the
had
funniest
Fringe screenings.
Yeah, when you fucking arrived and drunk ass Jake Fisher comes in, fucking takes your bag and fucking runs off with it.
Oh no!
Yeah, we had to like prevent some drunk people from like throwing a glass jar of something into a pool. Do you remember, Rod? Me and you were like,
there was that. Somebody was fucking with that, wasn't it? Who was that? I don't even remember.
We don't need to name names, but
no,
it was getting a little.
I remember the situation. I don't remember who it was.
I feel like you were
specifically.
being very good at like also helping to try to diffuse it and being like, as someone who understands drunk behavior, I need to.
The thing is I'm usually as drunk as the person who's trying to do something like that. I'm just like, listen, dude, I understand where you're coming from. I would love nothing more than to throw this jar through whatever you're throwing it at. However, don't do it. Don't fucking do it. It ain't worth it. You're just gonna fuck everybody else's day up, and everybody else is more important than you throwing this fucking jar.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's as simple as that.
Point is, Fringe Case was nuts.
Yes, that is the point. That is the point. And it broke the game, and it was like such a cool example of, you know, like a mass influx into that like bag of tricks that I was talking about, you know?
And like, I think to jump back to like sort of my early days and like creating tricks, a couple tricks that I really do think are like tricks I invented. I feel like I coined around the USA and like I wanted the USA to have something. And I was we'll add earth turns. So like, it'll be harder than around Japan to like kind of be a flex.
Insane. That's, you know, but it's funny because you added earth turns to around the world or around Europe. Sorry, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is funny because around the world is like, you know, just cup go cup spike.
Or is it like, it takes like 3 days-ish to like drive across the US, so it's like 3 earth turns worth.
I see. That's good.
3 days.
I like that.
5.
Other
How
tricks,
fast are you
like,
driving?
I feel like
I mean, it depends on your car, I guess.
The other 2 tricks, that, like, you know, I feel like I did a couple small things like early on, but the lunar tray flip and jumping stick.
The lunar tray specifically, I remember being a very Colin Sander trick.
Lunar tray and
you
like
saw, you're like, wait, what happened? Rewind?
Like, kind of like inventions.
Yeah.
And so I do really feel I'm like stoked that I can have like a couple tricks where I'm like, cool, those I kind of like, it's not like you invent them, you almost like discover them or like realize the possibility. Yeah. But yeah, Fringe Cases like takes that to like 48th power.
Yeah, dude. Because now you watch some people play Kendama and it's like it's not even the same game. You know?
And I'm I'm definitely like a sucker for the like classic jugs and taps and straightforward kind of forward flips, back flips and that type of stuff. But I also do love seeing like creative string tricks and definitely love seeing like all the different types.
I've always been one of the people that just loves new shit, you know, like I love the creative mind and I love to see somebody do something that I didn't think of, you know, and not only I didn't think of, maybe I did think of it, but I couldn't fucking do it, you know, which is even better. Yeah. And it's, I don't know. I think that's a cool part of Kendama is that we're all just like, we have the same fucking tool and we're all just like faced with our own creative mind to find out what you can and can't do or can think of or whatever, you know. It might not even be the hardest trick in the world. It could be something simple, you know, something like Sweet Special, you know, is like not the hardest trick in the world.
But
it's pretty
like
simple.
Brilliant. Yeah.
But it's brilliant in its own way. Exactly. It's like the simplicity is why it's brilliant, you know?
Yeah.
Simple's best.
It's great.
Let's let MJ get back to D and to his questions, or I'll try to keep
rein us in, MJ. I'm sorry.
I'll try to keep getting some momentum.
I'm taking us off the rails as usual.
Running it back to the different eras of Kendama, the different spaces that Kendama has gone through and what we have seen it go through. All of the teams, especially of what we have right now, but especially of the big 3, you know, Kendama USA was like a family, and it was really awesome how everyone kind of brought something of their flavor to the table.
Yeah.
What did you think was the special thing about Kendama USA's team?
I think one of the great things about it, and this I think comes from Jiro's original vision, was finding players that were just unique people in like a well-rounded sense, or just outside of kendama, not necessarily just well-rounded, but like people who had a variety of unique passions and how kendama could fit in with those. Whereas some other teams are more like straight slaying or like hitting bangers, or like, you know, just the most talented players, like trick for trick. But yeah, it's always been an amazing, like, tight family, and everyone brought their own unique skill set. But definitely, like, I think from the beginning, Kendama USA was always sort of a home for people where you have a lot of different creative endeavors or different passions, sports, but it shows that people of all these different walks, like, can still appreciate kendama. And yeah, it's definitely been an amazing family to like be a part of. And then obviously when, you know, we tragically like lost Dave, that really hit pretty heavy for the entire team and
the whole community.
Obviously, but like, yeah, it was just like gnarly shockwaves. But also that was a time too when I was like, I need to like have some space to just like process all of this. But like, because I had seen Dave like not too long before that, a couple months before, and he came to like my 30th birthday climbing trip. And I took some awesome like film photos of him before that trip. And after he passed, I made a little like, I don't know what you would call it, a little like tribute memorial case with some photos of him and stuff, and brought it to like the last place where we hung out. So like I can kind of know that like some of his energy is there and reminisce every time we're out like climbing up there. But yeah, that I feel like was sort of such a heavy moment at the end of like that early KUSA fam era that like everyone sort of needed to process it. And I think the community did really well to like come together and also like try to show support with anyone else who's like going through mental health issues or just you know, like loneliness and different stuff. And I've had like so many blessings in my life and got to do so much fun stuff, but and I'm married, have a beautiful wife, big, you know, so many like siblings, and it's all awesome. But even with all that, I've been to some dark places as well. And like, yeah, it's just, you know, always good to like reach out to people and just know that like there are people who like cherish you. And like, no matter how bad you think a situation is, like, there's just so much infinite potential in the future that there's like no need to like exit the game.
You're never irredeemable.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I don't know, all love, and it's just the best fam ever. But that's why, like, you know, with Dave passing, that like hit super hard, and I was like, I just can't, like, I just need to take time away.
That's fair, man.
But, you know, it's good to see then it's like, you know, people have gone through processing that, and, you know, like Logan, that he obviously was super close with him, and that really like, hit him hard, and Jeremy, and just, but I think everyone's come together after that now in like a good positive way too.
Yeah. And like
things are out of control, but like, you know, it's good to just keep spreading the message to the community that like, if you are struggling, like chances are like there's so many people out there that already do care about you, and just like,
dude, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, man. Is just like, it's a place of like, at this point you have to be in a place of like healing about it, and just use it as a lesson to like look at your friends and like talk to them, you know, and be there, you know, whether you think they need it or not, just like ask, you know. And there's nothing wrong with being like, oh, you good? Yeah, you're good. Cool, that's good.
Yeah. And it's like, it's a long life, and there's going to be ups and downs. And I've had some like amazing years, amazing trips, amazing moments. And then I've had some super tough months, super tough years, and like hard times where you're like, okay, this feels like everything's going wrong. But like that's just the journey of life, is just working through that stuff. So
absolutely, man.
Everyone stay positive. And
I've always been a firm believer in that it's not about the difficulties that you're faced with, it's about how you deal with them. And like, that's easy to say when you're on the outside of it, but I really do believe that that's something that if you think that while you're in the inside of some of that shit, it will help you out,
Yeah, it's like that mindset. Pretty much.
It's something like that Kendama also teaches, right? Same thing.
True.
Is that mindset of like staying focused, staying on task essentially, and like looking at the intricacies of a problem to make the problem into a solution.
Yeah. And I think too, like, people that are the most creative and most loving and have the biggest hearts are also like feeling those negatives and those lows like super strongly. So that's why,
absolutely.
Whether it's like musicians or artists or people that somehow become super successful but then deal with mental health, like, part of the reason why like some tragedy can happen is that these are just larger than life personalities and people that just like, it's just they're feeling so big, it's hard to even like fathom what it's like in their own shoes, But yeah, Dave was definitely like, we had a close and like unique relationship for sure. And like, I'm thankful that like he taught me so many different lessons and just brought his positive vibes, and we would just like crack up laughing together.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You've been on a lot of different tours and travels and stuff. Was there any that stick out as your favorite?
Oh man, I'm like during traveling, I'm kind of the person who like maintains the high energy and is also like permanently stoked, and like sometimes to the point that people like can't take it, that I'm like too positive, or like you need to chill the stoke at times and not
you're
be
like a Red
stoker.
You're handing out Red Bulls to everybody.
You need to like pay
another Red Bull, Colin.
But yeah, you don't want to go into full. I had never heard the term toxic positivity until like semi recently, but there's a crossover point with that. I don't think I'm usually like hitting that, but with all the travels and stuff, I'm usually like trying to joke around, trying to like
absolutely
tell stories, like have a blast. Like anytime me and Rod have been on trips, like it's just hype. But like, I was
super
still
hype. We're both that same kind of person.
I was always like Grandpa Sander. They used to call me Grandpa Sanz because I'd be like, all right, guys, it's like 11:30. I got to go to bed. Like, tomorrow's another day. Like,
yeah.
So I kind of got the nickname Grandpa Sanz because after like 30 minutes, I'd be like, guys, my knees are done. Like, I can't hit this trick. Like,
another grandpa. Yeah, knees are done.
The knees, dude, the Kendama knee is.
That was part of the reason I kind of like stepped out too, was I was starting to deal with some really gnarly knee pain and my body was getting out of balance. But then after taking some time off and healing and stuff and getting into like cycling and skiing and rock climbing and stuff, now I'm like, now I've hit a whole different fitness peak. And because my body is like very much like healthy, super strong, I've been doing these like endurance sports. Like I find myself having more fun playing kendama because I can squat super low. I can like put in a 20-minute grind session and like I feel totally fine. Like I know some like other people in the community have dealt with like knee issues too.
Lower back and stuff.
Dude.
But and I was kind of like naturally athletic, so I just kind of went for stuff. But closer to like 28, 29, 30, I started doing more like actual like weight training, and then like training for climbing and just like cycling and just eating well and just kind of taking more charge of like my own like physique, I guess, or just fitness. And now I'm getting to the point where I'm like kind of in this crazy like do these huge skiing objectives. We'll do like massive peaks that are like it's like a 16-mile hike to where we camp. Then we climb like a 2,000-foot face the next day, hike back out 16 miles with like a 40-pound backpack.
Damn.
Like
that's wild.
Me and Takil just ran a route called the Sky Marathon in the Sierra, which is like a 26.5-mile point to point through the mountains in California. We did like last week.
Damn.
It took us like 7.5 hours.
26.5 miles. That's what, like, that's like 60 kilometers ish.
Yeah.
Like just under 60, I think. Yeah. That's crazy.
So I've done some 32-mile days now. I've done that. I've done some crazy ski days where it's like, and you're also doing like on some of these like days in the mountains, you're doing like 10,000 feet of elevation gain. So like 3,500 meters just of like vertical too.
Yeah.
So I've definitely like, I'm getting kind of more into these like endurance sports and doing like these big ski objectives and even running and like mountain running, trail running. So I feel like I'm almost in like a whole new body as an athlete, even though I'm 35 at this point.
That's sick.
So yeah, I don't know.
Man.
Did a couple trail marathons this year. I like have been running a lot more the last 2 years, biking, and now I'm just like feeling very solid.
Yeah. That's super sick. I did like a week and a half ago now, I guess. I did like a 3-peak like big hike with a couple of guys I work with up here in like Squamish. We did like, it's like a 7K hike, I think.
Oh dang!
Into like this camp, and then you get from there to like hike up to Panorama Ridge, it's called, and which is like overlooking Garibaldi Lake, and it's like such a sick view. And you come up. We went up to like Gentian, another peak, and then we went down to Corey's Peak before hiking down all the way, and then like another like 7K out or whatever, plus all the other shit. And I think it was like 3,000 meters of elevation also.
Yeah.
And like, I am not in crazy shape. You know, I've been traveling. I was in Europe for 2 months. Before that, I was in Mexico for 7, you know, like.
Well, you've got the emotional.
I was pretty soft. I'm not gonna lie, you know, like pretty soft. But like, I fucking sent it with the guys who do it all the time, and like, by the end of it, I was fucking dead. My legs felt like I was 97 years old. You know, like I was fucking dying. But I made it, and I had a cold beer waiting for me at the end, and it was like so worth it in the end. Like, it was such beautiful shit that I got to see.
It's so worth it.
That third peak, we almost didn't go, and it was one of those things where my buddy Ira looked at me and said, you know, not a lot of people get to stand there. And I looked over there, and I was like, fuck, I want to stand there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I got a taste of it, and I like it a lot.
Well, and you've adventured all over the world. You've done some awesome stuff. Obviously, you had your crazy sailing experience too, which is its own adventure.
Yeah, it's different little adventure.
For all the Dama nerds out there and everyone listening, like definitely get into the mountains and like go try something fun, explore your local area, like
get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
don't be comfortable. Get uncomfortable.
Yeah, especially now,
in a comfortable way.
With the world's, kind of opening up, especially here in Japan. Finally,
dude, that's
allowing
that's
tourists. It's official. It's official, guys. So
I'm fucking coming. I'm coming for Catch and Flow. I will be there.
Everyone can come. You don't need a crazy ass visa.
Rod, I heard in the one episode your funny story about the sleeping bag on Mount Fuji.
Holy shit!
I have like a couple funny sleeping bag stories.
Yes.
Basically, we should probably get to some other stuff. But long story short, nerds, like bring a sleeping bag if you're traveling.
Dude, if you think you're like not even if you think, like just bring a sleeping bag. Yeah, end of story. Actually,
and that fucking that mat, dude. That if you're gonna be outside, that little mat that goes right.
Oh
under
the inflatable mattress. Have to have it.
That's
even just like that thin foam one,
I got the foam and the inflatable.
Double
huddle.
Of course.
Talk about Catch and Flow.
Colin,
you were at the first. Were you not at the first one?
The Catch and Flow?
First Catch and Flow.
Yeah, you were there, weren't you?
So I weirdly, like, the way travel schedules played out, I landed I arrived like just after the event finished.
That was Catch and Flow 2.
But that was the second one. I don't think I was at the first one. Or I don't think I traveled to the first one.
Right. Yeah. The first one, Tokyo took.
Yeah.
Remember?
2013.
I never competed
14, right after.
14. Yeah.
KWC.
Same year as KWC.
Yeah, I've never competed in a Catch and Flow, but I think that second one is then when we did like some Red Bull demo after.
Dude, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we at the Red Bull headquarters.
So this is where I wanted to lead to, because I remember, the event went, finished, Ballins took it again, Stod took second, so I think Talkbot got third, and
I think you're right,
and everyone's leaving, having a good time. The fucking staff are like, you fucking get out of here, and the police are like, you can't be on the streets, and everyone's like, a little chaos, right? And then
super chaos.
Here comes fucking Sander with a huge backpack, like, oh, what up, guys? And we're like, what the fuck? Like, dude, it's done.
Yeah.
So
that was another thing.
Plans to join? Were you just there?
No, I think I didn't want to I didn't want to miss like the Red Bull demo thing, but I think it was probably either work or like family life or like something with my wife's birthday or like whatever it was. I couldn't fly until the day of catching up.
Yeah, it's a previous engagement that you cannot get out of. Yeah. These things happen.
So then you made it. Then let's go into the Red Bull. So you were a part of the Red Bull filming?
Well, I think I was just there to kind of jam. I don't think there was as much of on that one in terms of like,
you weren't there for like the film thing. MJ, you're talking about the DVD.
The DVD,
where we like had the film squad. I don't think Colin was there for that.
No, that was the year before. No. That was 2014.
No, Colin's talking about where we were at the Red Bull headquarters. Like they have a building in Shibuya. Yeah, I guess it's Harajuku, which is next to Shibuya. You're right.
Yeah.
And I think they had did they have some flatland bikers that were putting on a performance that we also jammed at, or maybe they were just there?
That was another one. Yeah. There was always those homies around because it's like the 430
Nobu's
homies are what hooked it up, right? And 430 is a BMX brand. So yeah, there was like, Colin, were you there? Was it this year? I think I'm confusing with another year where this might have been before Catch and Flow, but we went to a Hooters in Shibuya. And we did a fucking huge throwdown performance thing at Hooters. Is that a different year?
I definitely wasn't there.
Hooters,
but I
Kendama,
dude, it was hilarious because it was with the Red Bull guys. Oh, so you weren't there? That's too bad. That was funny. That was good times.
Yeah.
It was a legit Kendama throwdown though. Like it wasn't Hooters. Like it was Hooters, but I don't know. It was weird shit. It was
There's
funny.
so many funny memories though. But I will say I enjoy having a good time and am down to party with people, but I definitely don't drink that much, especially now that I'm older. I hardly drink at all. But I'd always be the kind of okay, I'm partying, but I'll kind of keep an eye on how gnarly things are getting just for safety and legal reasons or police. Always on the trips, I'd kind of be staying relatively with my wits about me.
Yeah.
But there have been so many fun nights too, just whether it's Roots Tour, Atlanta, MKO stuff, Japan, where it's just listen, everyone's here. There's a hotel room. We're partying.
Gotta get in it. Got it.
I mean, you gotta keep your wits about you, but there is times where it's yeah, okay.
Yeah.
When the Space Lab calls, you don't say no.
Let's go down possibly, I don't know, the downward spiral of Downspike.
Whoa.
Wow.
I mean, let's hear about that, because that is something that when it came onto the scene had the most hype, promotional video at the beginning. Everyone around the campfire. Was that NERDS? Oh shit. Fun. You got pros acting like a full cinematographer. Is this a trailer for a movie?
The Downspike Damon.
The Downspike video was so fun, and
it was sick.
We definitely we just wanted there to be something that was not FKC and not just a random forum. So Downspike, I feel it was all definitely done for all the right reasons and helped facilitate the community in its own unique way. And there's kind of similar things like that in skiing and climbing. They have new schoolers, and for climbing it's Mountain Project. But it's kind of just a place to aggregate content and discussion and whatnot. But I, as someone who's since I'm barely in my own email and Instagram, let alone actual forums, but I am semi-active on the climbing forums. It used to be on the skiing forums
and the BKA forums also. I remember seeing you in there a little bit.
Yep.
I also am not. I'm also on your side with all that, but I used to be in there. Yeah,
you can browse.
We lurk. We're lurkers.
Yeah, we lurk.
We're lurkers. Yeah, I feel you.
But yeah, I think it was done for the best intentions, and it was kind of a collab between me, my brother Christian, Smith, Jiro, and so I think it's kind of just floating as is now. But
any future?
Honestly, I'm not. I'm very hands off with Downspike specifically, but I think it's just going to continue to ride as an ultra core community message board.
And with any luck, people will jump in on it and keep it going.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was like
cool.
it's like Discord before people like really
there you have it.
Focused on the Discord.
If any of you nerds listening are looking for a real fucking nerd place to hang out online, you get your ass over to downspike.com.
There's Downspike. That's another place.
On that forum.
Another place
Make
to
a
congregate.
fucking profile. Hop in. It doesn't even have to be your own name. You can be an Dama, whatever the fuck you want.
You can be the non-secret Yinzer.
Kendamonymous.
So good. No, so point is, once I kind of tapped out, it's like I've been behind the scenes, but like, I'll jump in when it's like Mags's pro video and he's like, oh, come through to Vegas. I'm going to be filming. This is going to be super hype. And like, I'm always happy to lend like my creative eye or trying to get a trick. And like, then I feel like when I do make it into little videos here and there, the core community is like, okay, cool. This is rad. And like, oh, that's really fun. Like, I love this, like, either the like chrome plasticity edit or like the Bonds like no jumper interview, because it's like, oh, this is kind of cool because Colin shot it and it's just like a unique like like bonus of like Colin still being in the community, even though it's very like sporadically. But
it's great. We love to see it.
Shout out to like just all the video crew and everyone that's helped do all the creative through the years, from Weens to TJ, Skaggs, Zach Magnuson is just absolutely destroying it now. Cooper Eddy, obviously, me and him go way back, and I'm always inspired by his work too. George Marshall, Matthew Ballard, obviously, is on another level with his DPing and shooting now too, and like so I still draw inspiration from all those people, and like have just the most gratitude for everyone like just making art for the community through the years.
How do you feel being? I feel personally, looking at the KUSA videos from then and now, you have a heavy aesthetic that continues to run.
Yeah, I think it's like a natural like structure of shooting in general, where it's like wide shots, medium shots, close-ups, moving shots, like mood shots, like establishing versus detail versus like the A cam versus the B cam. And like definitely Zach Magnuson has taken things to just an amazing level, and he's such a great editor too, and I'm just blown away by all the stuff he does. So I love when I get to kind of like jump in for little stuff with that. But like it's definitely like in good hands. I've kind of more evolved to more of a straight shooter or director and shooter, to where my editing game isn't like the most game changing or like can't level with like the aesthetic that's out there now, but I'm more of like a documentarian and like a shooter, where I'll like help get that really good shot, but like would rather hand over the edit to someone else. But yeah, it's beautiful to see where like everyone's taking it, and it's amazing. It's kind of, I think in the early days of Kendama, I kind of had a vision or belief that it would sort of go to that place of like where skating and skiing and stuff went, that like really developed culture, really developed aesthetic and all that. And like the level of tricks is like beyond what I could have imagined, but all the content and the creative and everything, it's totally like the world that I felt like in those early days we were all like, this is bound to happen.
I feel like the Kendama world like changed the normal, at least for me, coming a background of skateboarder. It was, there wasn't so many slow-mo shots, that there was more of like the partying kind of vibe, the documentary, learning about the people playing and stuff, the shenanigans. But I feel like, again, with you, the film background, Weens, film background, Ballard, totally in it, like the eye for the framing, when to hit the music, when to pan in, out, like
it all comes together for like one beautiful like unison.
Yes, it's all those little details added up into one beautiful package, right?
And I feel like it's something that I saw. I mean, I stepped away from skateboarding as I was getting into Kendama. I see clips here and there, but I feel like Kendama videos, edits did that more, possibly because of what it was. It was in your hand. It was kind of hard to see. you kind of had to really get in there compared to all the other sports where you could sit from afar. You almost want to see it from afar so you can get the whole shot. Oh shit, that's fucking how many stairs that he's jumping down, you know? And so it kind of like was a perfect package of you guys who had this background playing this toy. I had to kind of think about like, okay, we want to shoot it in this style that we know, but we have to do it in a different way so it can be presented better so we can all see it. And that was like almost for me, like that's what really like made it pop even more. Which like, what is this? Not only like, what the fuck is this ball and cup thing, but holy shit, look how it's being presented.
Yeah. It definitely, it's just like a continual source of creativity. But I get what you're saying in that the kendama is sort of like uniquely specific in its shape and its size that you really have to actually showcase what's happening. You really have to like have precise angles and really get the blocking with the color behind it right and all that stuff. And even like just even the game changer of like POV edits, like Yord's early POV edits, me switching to POV for some of Mugens in the house. Like nowadays the GoPros are just like so fire. It's amazing, but POV is definitely a great way to like show as
or
well.
Like Wyatt's POV edits, like D West's POV edits, like some of the like it's the kind of shit where you're like, God damn, I wish I could do that trick. You know, it's like,
and people underestimate, like, as someone who's grinded a lot, like, it's harder to do a trick with a GoPro on your head. Like,
I mean,
for sure.
It's like there's not only the mental game of like knowing that you're filming, but like the physical mass on your fucking face is like uncomfortable.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's kind of like a labor of love, but it just goes to show how good all those players are. That like, they'd probably hit it even faster if they didn't have a friggin' GoPro on their head. They're just like they're doing it for you.
No,
like
totally. You can feel the love in those shots, man.
Yeah.
Let's roll over to Mugens in the house. Now there is a clip when you're
in the house
explaining, giving some history about Iwata Kobo and how he was, you know, this boy who ran to the mountains and make kendamas, they say, and as well, that's what he did. All this type of shit. And there were clips of Iwata-san creating kendamas. Now, I heard from possibly it was Rod explaining how, like, Iwata-san was pissed. You snuck in shots of things you shouldn't have been seeing.
There was
presented into the world on YouTube.
There was a little bit of drama about whether his process was being divulged.
He's a little touchy about those things.
Process. But it was one of those things where, one, this had already aired on Japanese television like 8 years ago, so people hadn't figured it out by then. Like, stop holding the secrets. Two, I was like, if it's some sort of game-changing secret, then fine. Like, the other kendamas will get better. Like, don't just keep like holding it for yourself. But I think it was just one of those more like Japanese like protocol things that was kind of lost in translation. But Kubota-san hit me up like 3 days before or something. I was dropping the edit. Like, it was posted on YouTube unlisted. I had written all the stuff out, final color, final mix, all that stuff. And he wrote like, can we double check to like see what could be approved for the footage that you're using in the edit? We know it's coming out, whatever. And it was kind of like near Christmas or something. And I was like, low key, I just have to drop this and be like, sorry guys, it's like 8 seconds of footage.
Yeah.
But there was like a little minor beef, but then we like squashed it when I saw him in Japan, and it was fine. And it had something to do with how the tamas were rotating or spinning while they were being painted, which I think was unique at the time, but probably
like
more
an even
normal
color
now.
Or something. Yeah.
So, but either way, whatever it was, I felt like was so specific that like it was not that game changing of a thing, but it was. I definitely did the playful intro with his like pictures from his childhood and stuff to like help build up the mythology, but kind of knew that it would be like kind of like tongue-in-cheek, like joking. But then like the actual community would be like, this is sick. Colin put in all these photos. Like, where did he get these? Like,
damn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's funny, man.
and where are all the Mugens?
in the house?
They were once in
or
this.
are they on a plane? Which is it? Which is it, damn it?
Will they be popping up somewhere else?
Yeah, I think I slowly started selling them off. And honestly, there was a time when I realized, like, look, the new shapes are like better than the OG Mugens at this point. Like, they're not playing as well. So, like,
yeah,
I would love to have just sat on all of them and kept my whole collection. But, like, being someone who works freelance and has, like, flexible employment, like, and just living in LA is expensive. There were times where I was like,
money's nice,
but people are going to love these more than me. They're just sitting in boxes.
Yeah.
Like, let me get some reasonable prices for the people that want to collect them. But, like, yeah, some went to Roosh, some went to Sweets, some, I don't even know where all of them went, but just to, like, you know, people in the community that were really hyped on getting an OG.
Did Chauffeur get any?
Yeah.
He probably did. I don't know if we were talking as much. I probably sent him back at least one. I know I bought a white off. I bought a bunch off of him.
Hell
but it's kind of one of those things where, like, I had bought Mugens off of Roosh. Like, I'd bought them off Chauffeur. Then
I see. So you're just literally returning them.
Yeah.
yeah.
You rented them off of Roush. You rented them off of Chauffeur.
There was, like, a turning point after I made the Mugens in the house edit that I was like, look, I just need to, like, sell these and people will appreciate them more, and, like, it'll just help me get by. And one of the reasons was my bike, my, like, really nice road bike that was like $2,000 bike, got stolen after a couple years, and then I was like, you know what, I should sell the Kotobuki to Sweets for his museum, and then I can, like, get my road bike that I was really into again.
That's a win-win.
Sweets is a G, because I was like, Sweets,
holy
you need
shit.
to buy this. You need to buy this blue Koto, like, now. And he was like, okay. And I was like, this is the price. And Sweets is a G. Love him. Like, so many fun times together. I'm not going to say it specifically, but he did pay over $1,000 for the blue Koto, which may be the priciest
trade
sale ever. I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's been more expensive Kendamas. I don't know about Mugens specifically, but
but hey,
I know there was a Terra specifically that went for $3.
But Sweets, I don't know if he let me or if I didn't tell him, but I kept the box. I kept the Kotobuki box.
You kept the box.
The original artwork.
You had it. You kept it.
No, dude. Oh, so it is still yours. You got the deed.
You have to come together.
Apparently the
holy shit. Go ahead.
The fold out that's inside the blue Kotobuki box was like a hand drawing done by Iwata-san's sister. Did the artwork for the fold out, I think.
Whoa.
Might have been
No way.
or something.
Holy shit, dude.
So
And you have it.
Still have that. So Sweets
so
gonna have to
bad.
pay
Sweets.
for the box.
Exactly.
You know Sweets is listening right now. So Sweets, good luck, bud.
Oh man.
Damn, that's epic.
Truly complete the collection. The fucking
Yo, can we maybe get a little damanerds sneak peek of that artwork when you have time? Just
honestly,
snap a quick pic.
Oh yeah. We could. I could scan it or
for the
something.
nerds.
I scanned it once, but
just take a picture, dude. It doesn't have to be a fancy. You don't have to scan it. You don't have to like redraw it or anything.
I'm gonna give the nerds the unreleased retirement edit and
holy shit
Kotobuki papers.
You nerds are getting spoiled. Take note, your Godfather's taking care of you. When us nerds are gone, your Godfather's going to take care of you. If something should happen to us.
Oh, shit. Question about then and now. So you mentioned, you had a lot of inspirations and you feed off of some of the people who in the Dama sphere talking or doing editing work and filming and stuff. What was one from history that really left a mark on you, and what's one now that you appreciate?
I was going to ask about the now. Thank you.
I mean, from the history, obviously it was like Extreme Kendama and Freedom Kendama.
Yeah.
And then any of like the early crew videos, and then Zach Yord Edit 3 and
all homework nerds.
Like the next like major Turner's like submission for the pro team was insane. And then I feel like stuff was kind of all in that wheelhouse. And then when Ballard made Where We Are, I remember watching that intro and being like, okay, we've like turned the page. Like this is the next chapter. Like this is the best thing I've ever seen. Like, and I think that was a pretty recent after our pro model video, maybe a year or two, similar time, but 3 years, I don't even know. But yeah, Ballard, where we are, definitely was like, okay, boom, now we're just launching here. And then it was like
a literal must
trying
see.
to match that, then it was, you know, making Jake's pro video, all of the early GT stuff was like really aesthetic. But yeah,
still is.
And then obviously like Cooper Eddie came in and did so much cool creative stuff more like in the modern age, but then, you know, then it shifted to more like standalone IG clips where it's like there's some aesthetic, but it's more of just like the actual trick.
Yeah. I mean, there's not enough time to like build an aesthetic and hold it long enough to like make it a thing, you know?
I watched the high receipts videos because you guys talked about them recently.
Yeah, the high receipts,
best shit out right now.
Very cutting edge, like aesthetically as well. And I think that can definitely like play into it. And Ballard in his podcast also mentioned the super slow-mo out of like Kendama Hong Kong or something that was a video that made a big impact on him. They had like a 240 FPS camera, and that same video also impacted me a lot. But yeah, so many good ones, so many fun, like all the early Frasier edits, like, yeah, just, but now it's just like everyone's banger Instagram tricks. Like I love them, like, you know, it's just, people just crushing.
Hell yeah.
But obviously like with KUSA, like, you know, ZB Mag, Zach Magnuson is, his work is really awesome and creative and amazing too. And yeah, he's definitely like carrying the torch, like beyond the torch.
We made a new torch.
Made a fully new torch, and I don't know if you guys get to see the
LED torch.
Did you see the Parks and Rec tour video?
I haven't seen all of it yet. Actually, I haven't sat down and watched it.
Super quality, but like all his pro videos are obviously awesome. Like so, he's probably my new fame style person for edits, but also we stay in touch fairly regularly and bounce ideas off each other. Give him feedback on edit.
He's one of those dudes that, like, you know, it might be easy to think this way because of the Kendama USA link, but like I do see that legacy being passed down, man. Like between like, you know, like you, Weens, TJ, Mags, all the like filmers of like KUSA, and like from day one to even Jero before you, like even, you know, like till now, is like it's got that vibe, you know? It's like everybody kind of understands the KUSA vibe. And it's like that's what it is. And it's been it's not only the flares, but that's a huge part of it though. You know? It's like it's not about the flares, it's how you use
transitions.
The flares. It's where they're at.
So what do you think?
It's good.
How do you feel the future will be of edits? Do you think you want to see more on YouTube? You want to see more long?
I think it's gonna be, you know, a lesser amount, but like really committed creators where it's like, whether it's like Cooper Eddie or like ZB Mags, and like people like that really want to commit to making something that's like lasting. Whereas like the players themselves, it's kind of a better suited format to just like drop single tricks on Instagram. I don't think like edits are going away, and like obviously tour videos and that type of stuff, but it's definitely harder to motivate to like get a crew to make a full edit, as opposed to be like, let's just look back trick by trick on IG. You know, the vertical format does work nicely for the way Kendama's played, but like,
as long as you're on your device,
I think it'll be those team members, actual pros, and their videographers kind of doing the full on edits. And like everyone in the community will still love them and stuff, but I don't think like every player coming up, like they'd rather just keep stacking tricks, which I think is fine and like great in its own way. And yeah, people get creative even with their mini edits, like that are just IG verticals, you know, whether that's Mitchell or even like, you know, Josh Kim also did some cool like animation stuff. Obviously, Jordan Marshall, you know, that type of aesthetic is really fun as well. But I think the like true banger edits will be kind of like company teams, pro announcement videos, like that kind of stuff, where it's like there's a project behind it, or
It's just more. It's kind of like what you were saying before with the old KUSA edits and how you had all this gear and all that shit. It's like there's almost like there's a budget behind it, you know? And it might not be like the company itself throwing all this money at making this edit, but it's the people that are involved who have the gear already and have the knowledge and are willing to put in the effort required to make something that's epic.
Are willing to crash a drone, eat red rocks. Dude, but do you guys remember, like, that sequence was so hype at the end of his, I think, was that his part 3 or his part 2?
I don't know.
Oh, was that? I thought that was for when he filmed Haley. I guess he was in the mountains too for his part.
No, yeah, it's kind of, I think the first time
part
it came
2,
out
probably.
It was part 2. But anyway, like, that was super fun. We got some amazing footage out of that, and I kind of helped facilitate the shooting and was doing a lot of that and flying the drone and whatnot. But what he came back with in the edit, I was like, this is so good. Like, this is such a better, like, assembly than I could have done, that, like, you just nailed it. So there's definitely tons of talent out there, and people should keep using Kendama as like a springboard into their, next trajectory, and keep using it to just stay honed, whether that's with your, like, creative, your filming, your actual tricks. But yeah, just keep staying honed and staying stoked, I guess.
Honed on life.
We've been grinding, nerds, for quite some time.
Yes, we have.
Anyone who's still here, we better part 2 this thing. 2-part this thing.
Oh, they can handle it. It's fine. If they're here already, they're gonna stick around.
Exactly.
We got some great
exactly. We definitely Patreon and a lot of people who support. So I want to just say thank you so much. This special little treat as one of the Patreons from that 5 tier and up. You get to ask questions to all of our guests that are coming on. And I have a gang of questions from many people who would like to ask you a few questions. We're just going to just jump right in on it. So here we go.
Let's do it. Let's dive in.
I'm trying to see.
Also, side note.
Oh, here we go. Yes.
Absolutely love you guys. Thank you for trooping through this mega episode with me. And yeah, much love to all the Patreon supporters. I know it's like super core community, and I love hearing from everyone on this show.
Dude.
And just much appreciation.
The real ones. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Runs deep, runs in blood. Okay, here we go. First question. Again,
Matt Sweet asks, where is the box for the blue Koto?
That's the very last question. That one just came in about 5 minutes ago.
Here we go. The first one from 3 years ago when I initially posted that we were going to have you as a guest. It's a rain check here or there. Here we go. Eric Bukiri asks, what is one of the hardest tricks you have ever done? As in, what took you the longest to do? And will there ever be a new updated Colin Sander promo? There's 3 questions right there.
That's a great question.
So first, what was one of the hardest tricks?
Oh man, hardest tricks I've ever done. Probably anything borders balance in the early days was challenging. I never really landed it, but I still landed it. Probably the dub tray comes to mind as well. But actually, towards the end, I was working on trip tray and almost got that before some other people, but I was trying it on the Earth Blue Mugen Muso.
Oh yeah,
which kind of had like a whack lunar balance, low key.
Yeah, the one with without the plastic tip, right? The only one with the wooden tip.
Right.
For the very first one.
He's reverted back, but yeah,
the most coveted.
I spent like 3 days, I spent 3 days POV filming a triple tray on that and got so close, got some like thumb touches, got some skid outs, and that was actually kind of like a gnarly stopping point where when I couldn't hit the triple tray, I like kind of was tapped out and was like, I have nothing left. And then I think one of the Gallaghers did it first, or maybe Fraser. But then one of the Gallaghers like quad lunar trade later, I think.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Probably. I'd say anything borders balancy and like double lunar tray flip, which was kind of my ender for Mugens in the house, I guess.
Yes.
Which is low. It's actually like not that hard of a trick now, but it was super hard then.
It's still a hard trick.
It still grinds.
No, it's still a hard trick. I still struggle with border tricks for damn sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not
and
like
then,
you know.
And then as far as
the other one was
ever be another.
Also, what took you the longest to do?
Yeah.
Honestly, probably some
Longest
like
grind.
random thing in like edit 2 or 3 where we were filming for 3 hours, but just had no ability.
Okay,
Dude, the old days, the old grind days. I fucking love it.
Going.
I've definitely gone over 2 hours, and then once I was in edit 7, I told myself I would cut myself off at an hour and like 15 minutes. Like I'd give myself a little courtesy over an hour.
Yeah.
But I realized it was like the point of no return after an hour. So, but yeah, then as far as another Colin Sander Pro model, Damanerds Scoop, I couldn't just go out having only ever had a mod that was like this honed.
Yeah.
So, and the shapes have come so far, and I've got a cool new project coming out with KUSA. So there will be another Colin Sander Pro model.
Holy shit. One of my last questions.
It is coming soon. It is coming soon, fam. And there will also be an edit to go with it. So, yeah.
There better be like a live stream as well, so we can
we should do something fun for it. But yeah,
we should. If you're not going to be around to do it, you let us know, and maybe the nerds can host it. We'll figure it out.
Oh my gosh.
So there will be one, mostly just because I'm like, I can't just like retire and have like no mods that are actually good. Like, and now the shapes are so good, and like KUSA shapes have come so far.
Yeah,
base cup holes, maple, like, yeah, it's gonna be honed,
dude. It's like also you don't have to just retire. You can just have another mod. You can just like stick around. Dude. Nobody's giving you the boot, man. It's not. Nobody's like, yo, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, bud. Fucking get out of here, Sander. Yep. Nobody said that.
I remember rumors in Japan, people in the Japanese Kendama community were saying how like after Cash and Flow 2, when you came late, they're like, yo, did you hear like Colin's done? He's not going to touch the Kendama anymore. I was like, I mean, that kind of makes sense. He was the greatest, and just like, all right.
Yeah. Well, and I do think there's something to like getting the whole Kendama community to that critical mass point to where like I'm just like one drop in the ocean of all the amazing players out there now. But like so many of the early people help push it to that point.
Yeah.
So I do feel like my work is done in the community, but at the same time, because people do appreciate it, and just for the straight up love, now that I've like been away long enough, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I do need to make another edit, and it'll be like some Dama, some skiing, some climbing, like show my actual life now. And
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's in the works too. I've got an adventure edit that's like ready to drop. That we can talk about in a bit.
I got it. You're
I'm back in the game. I'm back in.
That's what I'm saying. You are. Make me a new edit comp entry, dude. Enter my comp.
Okay, I'll enter
January.
Please. Oh, don't you just say that. I'll say that. Don't you tease me, Colin.
I'll make a jank edit.
I'm down with a jank Colin edit. Please, raw footage only. I'm super in.
Got it. You're talking about Kendama legacy mods. You should be mystic mods, because it's always a mystery with Kendama USA and the OGs in there that just vanish. And
let's go, like, Kenda Mystics.
Where are they? Where did they go? So this is just adding to the lore of the old school Kendama USA pros of, wait, are they still sponsored? Or what?
Yeah.
It's the shaman model.
Yeah, dude. He's going somewhere down that route of a name, but
love that.
Awesome news. Here we go on to the next one. Thomas Ishikawa asks, when you play Kendama, what kind of setups do you typically jam with? Throughout the years, the shapes and paint finish of Kendamas have evolved dramatically. And again, mind you, this is 3 years ago. Yeah. Since you started playing, what do you like the most of the new shape? What do you dislike about the new shapes?
Like the most would be everything, and dislike would be nothing. Picking up the old like pro mods is just like it's actually amazing that we did the tricks we did on them, like pure ice, like egg mama, and to then like the new shapes are just like so clean, so workable, so playable. But yeah, I try to weight match my stuff. I like to play Maple, obviously played mostly KUSAs, hardly play any more Uzoras anymore just because the new shapes are so good. Definitely play some Chroms. Love playing the Craft Plus. Look, this is kind of a cool little hybrid that I don't know if anyone recognizes this Chrom Dama, but
that's nice.
Yeah.
On a Craft, this is on the thinner Craft. I really like the Craft Plus.
The Plus was nice.
The Plus is nice. I know a lot of your like hand turn stuff is sort of in the pseudo Plus size, but
not so much.
Dude. I'm like 6 foot, 180 pounds. I definitely prefer a heftier Dama. But yeah, love the new shapes and can't believe that we were so obsessed with the old shapes.
Dude, I mean, we didn't know any better.
We didn't know any better.
Yeah, how could you? That was the only option.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Next question from the third nerd herself, Haley Bischoff. Favorite non-climbing, filming, or Dama activity?
Well, Haley's awesome, and we've had like so many fun times together. She's definitely been like a very close person for me on the team, and we have kind of like our own relationship just because of shooting together, climbing, and like staying inspired and just like going through everything together. But so Haley's definitely awesome. Does she mean like what activity to pair Dama with, I guess?
Or I think outside of Dama.
I think just like in general.
Climbing, non-filming, non-Kendama activity.
It'd probably be skiing.
I knew that's what you were going to say. I was going to say, I feel like she meant to say skiing. What else?
Yeah.
Can I add another one?
Do you like skiing?
I would say it's probably skiing, and then I guess now is like mountain ride. I love being out in the mountains, taking photo, like shooting 35 millimeter film stills is like one of my other passions. But I guess, probably would be road biking, working out, or yoga, I guess. Those are probably my other two main things. I've definitely gotten much more into like lifting weights, kettlebell, like doing body weight stuff, but also I did when I broke my collarbone and had to get like 8 screws in my.
Oh, you got a clip, John?
Yeah,
you got a clip, John.
I got a clip, John.
Oh shit! Holy
Shout out Matthias.
You were so quick with that. Nice fucking work. That's so funny. Holy shit!
So when I did that though, I did yoga 5 days a week for an entire year.
Nice.
Some days more. But basically I finally embraced my own yoga practice and did that to help heal my collarbone and just my alignment and everything.
That's what's up.
I'm probably like a once or twice a week yoga person, maybe more if I'm like training or like lifting and stuff. But yeah, aside from Dama, film, and climbing, it's got to be skiing, biking, and then yoga and training probably.
Busy and active. Next question, Max Ida. So Colin, you brought a lot of us into Kendama, but how did you get into Kendama? Blading? Jeff?
Yeah, we kind of covered that already.
We kind of covered that, but yeah, I worked at a ski shop. Worked at a ski shop, saw JP Auclair's section, Damanerds homework, go look up all I can.
Max is already on it.
Max is on it.
Skiing and blading. Skiing and blading are what got me into it.
He's got a second question. When you started playing, did you think it would take off like this? Like there would be a World Cup?
Well, I think when I started playing, there were still sort of like these year-end competitions in Japan. So there already were sort of big championship contests of sorts.
Yeah.
And I did think it would take off. I thought it had like huge potential. And like, to me, the first couple times of playing it, I'm like, this needs to be like as big as Tech Decks, as big as like Pogs, like
Pogs.
Anything.
Pogs.
This needs to catch on. Like, so we definitely had like all the belief in like the virality, I guess you could call it, or like but yeah, we definitely felt like there was a ton of potential and we knew it like needed to go big.
I got one more. Where do you see Kendama in the 20th year of Sander?
20th?
5 years from now.
Well, definitely high receipts and 20 taps.
those high receipts are getting higher.
No, I mean, I think it's just more of the same progress where it's like the competitions are extremely high level. The banger tricks are just like mind melting. Like Nick Gallagher's gonna do a 12 sling instead of a 10 sling.
Dude, Nick Gallagher is gonna come live in Japan for a year, possibly longer, to only teach and play kendama. So he's gonna come back. I don't know if he's gonna come back, but he is going in, and it's going to be a full-on like.
He's gonna meet a Japanese girl and get married and stay forever.
Maybe that's what happens.
I'm calling it right now.
So yeah, the sky's the limit. But I mean, 20th year of Sander, yeah, it's gonna reach like peak Dama, which is just insane bangers on Instagram.
But it's only another peak, though.
That's what you thought about.
It's gonna be yours. Like, Colin, we're only gonna be 40 years old in the 20th year of Sander, bud. You and me, buddy. We got to make a 40-year-old edit. We got to make an old guy edit.
Oh yeah. Yasu's gonna be like Yasu's gonna be like 16.
Dude, we'll be able to buy Yasu a beer at that point.
But yeah, it's definitely gonna keep rolling. So yeah.
Next question from Nick Dodenhoff. How has being part of Kendama USA for so long changed for you? You've seen the company go through a lot in those years. What was the experience like?
Yeah, that's a cool question. I definitely think from the early days, like I learned, kind of learned from Jiro, like different insights about how to operate a business, what actually goes into that, what are the risks and the rewards, and, obviously learned so much about like building a team and collaborating and, making commercial stuff, doing shoots, like, trying to execute on really awesome pieces of creative, sometimes them falling short, sometimes them totally being like viral and like loved. And yeah, it's definitely been a cool journey that like helped me learn about business, helped me learn about like teamwork, and just, I don't know, it's been wild, but learned a lot of lessons through Kendama USA, and definitely appreciate Nick's time there, and everybody that's helped behind the scenes at Kendama USA. I know like Alyssa, I think, just left too.
Yeah.
But she, gave a good chunk of her life to KUSA, just like I did. And, everyone that's worked there has, and meeting all the people through the years that have kind of been like at the core of KUSA has been super awesome. And like the company definitely wouldn't have survived without them. So definitely appreciate everyone. But yeah, it's so many lessons. But just, keep trying hard, doing your best, be creative, be supportive, and try to execute and just keep delivering something positive to the community, to your customers, to, the whole package.
There we go. Next question from C. Frage. Besides being the godfather of Kendama, what specific impacts do you feel you have made in Kendama?
Well, question.
Obviously the dub tray or the single tray flip. No, but I think in the early days, I helped get everyone stoked on like making their edits, which helped solidify the community. And I had so much fun kind of battling back and forth with Fraser in the early days on different tricks and stuff and just pushing each other. And it's such a different level now of play, but I think probably the thing sort of I'm most proud of is just helping set into motion like just setting an example for like how to go about like making a company exciting, how to go about like hyping a product release, making a travel video or like a tour recap video, so that like all of that stuff's been in the community and people can kind of take it from there and just, keep expanding it. But definitely I feel like helping set into motion in the early days, like that type of stuff is probably what I'm like most grateful for.
Yeah. Next one. Adrian Esteban.
Yes.
New gen trick you wish you could do.
Good question.
Probably quant tap to juggle to quant tap. Anything with multiple taps and then continuing it with juggles.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I'm so far out. Like I could probably do like a dub tap, juggle dub tap, juggle dub tap to airplane if I really grinded it.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I would love to.
I want to see that clip.
I would love to. Yeah, be able to do quad taps to insta houses. Like that would probably be the new. He probably doesn't want to hear that because that's not as much as Steve. But
no, yeah,
it's definitely new gen.
It'd probably be like quad tap, juggle to house, instant 2 house flips to juggle to quad tap to 2 more house flips and like downspike.
Oh. You could throw like a green triangle at the end there, just for Adrian, you know. Then get the airplane.
Yes.
Next one from Daniel Robinson. In what direction do you see Kendama moving towards? A sport, a fad, an art format?
Whoa. I feel like it's definitely going more sporty with like how high level the contests are. And just because you can like put a point ranking to certain tricks like they've done at KUSA. Yeah, and I think there will always be people who kind of use it and see it as art and like create art with it. And D-Rob is also awesome, and I heard him jump in on Rod's episode 2, and he's such a nice guy and so like kind, and I definitely always remember his positive vibes from like early on in the community.
Dude, he's the shit. Yeah, I love D-Rob.
Yeah, he's amazing. Super talented player too, obviously, and was pushing the limits back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's this sport element's going to continue to be higher and higher level, and it's just like tighter and tighter margins in those contests and stuff. And then like the art component will just be like people making their edits, making their creative, coming up with amazing tricks. Like, yeah, it's definitely a mixture of both, but the high level sport is not going away.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it feels like once you can kind of turn it into a competition, like it can be more profitable, possibly in that realm. Like, I don't know, I'm thinking of video games, how that turned into like a sport.
Yeah, that's true.
A sport because they took it outside from you're not in your basement playing on that dirty ass couch.
They're putting it on display.
Yeah. So that can only just, boost it even more. So it's nuts. Next one, Brad Willard. What is the most honed Dama you've ever had? What's the best Dama trip of all time?
Ooh. Okay, most honed Dama I've ever had.
That's such a hard question.
I mean, it probably was the pink, for me, it was this pink Mugen that was in, I guess it was in my Edit 7 and in Mugens in the house. But yeah, it was basically a pink Mugen that was really friggin' honed. I mean, I mostly just like beat cubs into submission, and they were like so soft and like supple that it would just like lighthouse. Like there was so much like body sweat and grease that the Ken probably weighed like 90 grams by the end. And like, so it would just like slap.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, now the shapes are all so honed that it's like whatever the current KUSA, Sweets, Chrome shapes are, those are now the best Dama like I've ever played. Like it's all the
new shit.
Yeah.
The new Terra shapes are all right too. I'm just
shout out Terra. I had a what's that Terra I had that was like a,
was it the rod mod?
No, but I had like was it not mahogany? It was like black walnut, not black walnut, black mahogany.
No, the ebony one you had.
The ebony, yeah.
We were speaking about people who beat me in contests. This motherfucker beat me in the first Van Jam. It was you and me in the finals.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, and you were playing that ebony Kendama, the full ebony.
The only contest I ever won was
dude, yeah. No, I'm happy that I can give you that, honestly. I do wish I had one. But what do you do?
you probably deserve the win. I definitely remember it was definitely like a chippy battle.
Oh, dude, I remember the tricky one. I remember. It was airplane.
Cork
Like
whirling.
drop into like pizza.
Pizza. Yeah.
And then it was like out to house. And I think it was trade spike.
Yeah.
And I did not know how to do that drop into pizza.
The drop is so weird.
And now I can do it for sure. But like then I just like I didn't have it. And
you can do it with that long string now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, shout out to Alex Smith for making me some amazing setups back in the day, but also forcing me to come to Van Jam, and I randomly won.
But dude, why didn't he force you this year? What the hell? I'm gonna tell him for next year because next year is Van Jam 10, so it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. You won the first one, buddy. You think you got a 10-year reunion in you or what?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Yo, me and you in the finals, we'll have a Van Jam Invitational battle. It's only me and you.
Ooh.
Let's
Van
go.
Jam 1.1.
Let's go. We gotta bring. I don't remember what Dama I was playing, but let's bring the same Damas. We're bringing them back.
I feel like I sold that Dama to someone, but I don't know.
We gotta find out. We gotta buy it back.
Shit.
It might have been Smith. I might have slapped a Smith because I had a Smith Pro Tom on it. I might have been like, I don't know, but that was an amazing can.
I'll ask him. I'll find out. We'll to be continued.
Yeah. ... Another question he had at the end was, what is the best Dama trip of all time?
Ooh,
best Dama trick of all time?
Ooh. Trip.
Oh, best Dama trick. I was like, trick spike.
Actually, though.
Yeah. Low key.
Yeah.
The best trip of all time? I mean, there's so many good ones, but probably be either that first pro model trip to Japan or KG Roots tour for me.
Got it.
Roots tour was so awesome because it was like just friends and like being in the States, everything's a little mellower, a little easier. We were going to super scenic areas.
Were you there on both years?
My first, I think I was. I feel like the early year, I don't know if it was just called Roots. Maybe I only came for part of it.
Yeah. Because the second one is when the Chromies came too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and you were there definitely.
Best Kendama trip for me was when we did our first like pro model release trip to Japan. And it's basically I don't even know the title of the edit, but
I think it's Kendama USA Japan tour.
2012 maybe?
It was 2012, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's probably my favorite trip still, just because we saw all the classic stuff. My wife got to be there. Yeah, like it was just super fun.
Uh-huh.
And last one from Samuel Ullman. Dan.
Wow.
Miss you, dude.
No.
That's it. That's it. Not even a question.
Love you guys.
Sam Ullman. That's
wow. Sam, you're a beast.
Miss that guy, dude.
All love to the community. I love people are always welcome to like pop through when they're in LA. I always end up seeing like I just saw Ballard like 2 weeks ago. I just saw Tokyo a week ago. Shout out to Miles Gibson.
No shit.
Hell yeah.
Throwback player that's one of my close friends, and me and him have jammed through the years. He still lives.
Yeah.
SoCal. Yes, no. Yeah, he was always like was it LA with the LACMA lights thing? And
yeah, he went to undergrad at UCLA. So
okay.
He was like around, but he was studying engineering and like pretty focused. He kind of like stopped Dama to like focus on his engineering degree. And
yeah.
Wasn't he also making music?
Oh, he makes amazing music. He still makes music, and
that's dope.
So
dope.
Miles is one of my close friends. So I still am friends with a lot of people in the community. I mean, I see Haley like 2, 3, 4 times a year. We link up to go climbing.
Hell yeah.
It's so still just like all love.
That's
and
what
it continues. Dude, I'm just happy that you still have a presence in it, because as I was saying before, like some of the pros, not just from the KUSA team, but other teams as well, shit happens, of course, that's totally fine. But as a Kendama player, an enthusiast, who's someone who like really cares about the community and the people in it, I always like some sort of, like you were saying yourself, you can't just disappear. You need some sort of like retirement. You kind of want to finish off and close the book properly, finish the story properly. And there are a handful of OG players who didn't do that. And it was just like, to be continued,
and I
you
feel
don't
like
even know.
Yeah, I was kind of in that place, but then it's like now I've been brought in enough times to film for other friends, and then I've refound the love, and like the shapes are so much better that I'm like, okay, I think what my real sign-off is, and this is, some of the nerds may have heard of this, some have not, but I had this project called Edit X that was going to be my 10th edit, and the idea was it was going to be players from all over the world, and I was going to kind of like sort of direct and produce it, but I was going to feature, so it wasn't going to be like a KUSA specific or a team specific thing, but it was going to be a standalone project to where I had 1 or 2 sections, but like featured the best people from all over the world. Everyone gets like a 3 or 4 or 5 minute segment. And I wanted to kind of like co-produce it with like a Japanese production company and really try and make like one big movie. So
yeah,
shout out to Ballard.
Yes,
but
totally.
Basically, so I think if I can, like, that could still be off in the future, and I think doing something that's like an actual like funded like co-production with like a Japanese studio that's like, look, we're gonna make the Kendama movie that's like what Art of Flight was for snowboarding, we need like that for Kendama. So I haven't like given up on the idea yet, but hopefully if I could do that, that could be like a future sign off to where it's like, okay, I helped facilitate a bunch of amazing players get their section all on something that you can get on DVD, you could get for pay download, or you could like have a screening or something. But yeah, that I feel like would be my true like retirement sign off. So hopefully that'll happen eventually, but as of now, I'm still just kind of jamming and just, enjoying it.
So as you are still present and, you know, creating a new edit, having a new product, a new pro mod release, who would be someone you would like to see do the same thing to revive?
Ooh, man. I mean, geez. I don't know. That's a good question.
It's a great question.
I feel like Frazier kind of did it. I mean, Frazier never really left, but did he do his 10-year edit?
Yeah, but he had the Legend mod was like the 10-year thing.
So I shout out to Frazier because he basically did a version of that, which was super rad. But yeah, for someone to come back and make something, I don't know. I mean, it'd probably be like Tomotsu or like Kazuma, or like like either of those two, or maybe like
Shimedera-san.
That'd be sick.
Oh shit, dude!
Some
Extreme Kendama 2.
Oh shit! But yeah, someone from Japan probably, or like
very extreme
Kazuma,
Kendama.
Shimedera. I don't know. Maybe like a Keith edit, maybe like a Bosch edit.
There's been a bunch of Bosch stuff lately. Bosch has been on it.
He's kind of returned.
Oh, he's on it. Yeah.
He did.
Bosch Snapchats me pretty often. I'm in the Dama squad chat, and he'll be at work, and he's like, okay, one try at the quad, and he'll try like a quad lighthouse flip and be like, shit, didn't get it. And then like the next day you get another one, and then he gets it, and you're like, what the fuck? Like he literally does it first try.
Got it.
So fun. Fucking Bosch.
Yeah. I would definitely. Yeah, Keith would have been. I mean,
Keith would be a good one.
In our talks with him, he mentioned something about, you know, his Edit 8, the Infinity.
I mean, I think he's got some ideas in the works for sure.
And I think for someone like that, it could be cool too to like showcase your skiing, showcase climbing, his music, like something more full immersion. That's not just
you filmed that, right? That one where it was like that. There was more filming. There was him in like someone's mini ramp in the backyard.
Yeah. The kind of like Keith mini documentary. Yeah, I really like that one. That turned out fun. That was really another one of those like movie vibe type edits where it's this is a longer like immersive edit.
Totally.
Right. Not just focused on the Damas. How do you feel? Are you stressed about releasing clips? Do you feel like you're Grandpa Sander in reality with the new shit that's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that people are out there crushing it. I feel zero pressure to like put out actual Dama clips. Part of the reason probably why I never do or like haven't, but even though I kind of dropped out of the scene, like I would still pick up a Dama at least like 2, 3, 4 days a week to just like casually jam. Never anything super crazy, but like I never like stopped playing, you know? I just kind of stopped grinding. But then like whenever someone has an editor, they want me to make a guest appearance, I'll be like, okay, I'll try a trick that like is still probably better than half the stuff I was doing in like edit 7, edit 9. Like I feel like I've still progressed beyond where I was, but you know, it's more of just like a fun little like bonus to just like see me drop in on someone's edit or do something that's like a little more old school, but still like pushes me personally a tad. So yeah, still always having a blast with it, but I definitely feel like my actual level of play, okay, Mugens in the house, yeah, I was getting pretty honed, but like I can definitely do tricks now that I couldn't do then. So my feel might not be like top level, but yeah, I'm definitely like a better player than I ever have been at the same time.
Yeah.
In part just because the shapes are awesome. I mean, more people, like, you know what tricks to do, what tricks are out there. Yeah.
Yeah, like the kendamas alone are like a whole boost in ability, you know? It's like if you're playing a video game and you like reach level 10 and you all of a sudden get like complete new abilities, like that's literally where we're at.
Yeah. You know, Game Genie is in the system. You have some codes in there.
Actually, Game Genie, aka Cushion Clear, or whatever fucking sticky shit you got these days, Mash
balance,
Paint, or
balance hole,
this clear or that clear, you know, whether it's spelled EA or AE or whatever the fuck.
Exactly. Colin, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for your time,
dude. Yeah,
to finally make this a reality for us and for everyone. Everyone I'm sure who made it this far is so stoked to hear, you know, the passion has not died from your heart about Kendama. I don't think it does with many people who stick in it for a few years, you know, like you mentioned. You still pick it up. You don't get rid of all of them. And you've learned so much about it, learned much about yourself from it.
And even in the times when I kind of pulled back from the community, like I'd still have a Dama on me. I'd still like introduce people to it out in the wild, or like whether that was like doing LACMA lights, or like when I'm going on a ski trip, or like I meet climbing friends and then I give them a setup, or I'm still definitely like always spreading the love, like, you know, day in and day out, but it's not about being as like visual about it in the community, but like in terms of like grassroots level, like I've never stopped kind of like introducing people to it and continuing to like share the love and get people their first spike, get people their first big cup, and just start the cycle.
Start the cycle.
That's it. So what are let's hear final send off to all the OGs, to all the newer players. What are some words of advice you'd like to leave us with?
Wow, I mean, just, you know, stay positive, love one another, try your hardest, just enjoy stuff. And, you know, if things are ever seeming pretty heavy or tough, like there's always going to be brighter times. And when times are super good, you know, you got to know that stuff's going to come back down to earth. So just, try to stay positive and stay loving and kind, and just celebrate this amazing life that we have, and just this great community. Keep it going, keep it flowing, and just, I don't know, enjoy life and just cherish it, because there's so much special stuff that can happen like that you don't even expect. So be open to the magic, be open to, you know, adventure, positivity, and everyone just keep learning, keep progressing, and much love to everybody.
Beautiful.
Fuck yeah.
Nerds.
Fuck yeah.
Unite.
Nerds. Nerds.
Nerds.
Also, I'm gonna have to check back in because I need to tell people about my secret project. But basically, true sign out, true sign off.
Let's talk.
No.
We're not talking about a secret project. We're talking about it.
We're not talking about it now. But long story short,
you're gonna tease us like that.
Long story short,
come on.
This summer I brought Kendama to the top of North America, which is Denali, is a 20,000 foot mountain in Alaska. It's the tallest point in North America.
Whoa.
Shit.
So I kind of was making a personal mission to go up there and climb and ski this peak. And so I thought, since I'm going, I've got to bring a Dama.
Fucking A, dude.
It was kind of this full circle trip. And I wanted to, I basically brought Kendama with me to the summit of Denali, which is the highest point in North America, shared it with people along the way, and kind of was a symbolic peak of like Kendama coming from the full origins and the kind of first mods making it into the States to like now 10, 15 years in, I brought it to the tallest peak in North America. And there's a lot of fun tricks that were hit along the way, meeting some people. I met a First Dawn player from Japan on the mountain.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
Back some clips and gave away a bunch of Damas. So long story short, the edit will be dropping. Kendama on Denali. Probably should be out by the time they drop this, but we can do like a separate mini podcast just about that project once the edit drops. But
holy shit,
I'm down. Yeah. That's sick.
So it's gonna be hype. I'm gonna kind of I packed an American flag and a Japanese flag that I meant to bring to the summit, but like forgot it. But long story short, there's epic footage of me playing Kendama on the summit of Denali.
Shit!
Did you leave the old Mugen there?
I went with I went with like a more classic. It's a Kendama USA Dama, but just like kind of a straightforward red.
Nice.
Yes. Wouldn't the gold Mugen be the most Kendama USA classic?
Yeah,
as a pro team member, is that not?
But yeah, so Damanerds scoop. Anyone that made it this far.
Shit,
I went to
dude,
Denali.
That's epic.
I climbed it. Yeah, I climbed it by myself, which was another heady thing.
I was gonna ask that. That's sick. Holy shit.
Took me 7 days. 7 days up, 10 days on the glacier. You'll see the edit. It's a really awesome edit. A bunch of different songs. There's some cool voiceover. We should do like a Nerds episode to kind of like break down the edit. But long story short, Dama on Denali coming out soon.
Everyone, thank you for sticking with us on this journey of an episode.
The journey to the past, this time traveling journey.
Endurance
so
athletes.
Much.
That's right. This is, if you're still listening, we know you're a grinder, you fucking nerd, and I love you.
Much love to all the Dama nerds.
If you would like to support the nerds and all the stuff I'm doing here, Damanerds, Kendertainment, everyone, you can do so by jumping over on Patreon. There's a place where you can support me monthly, and there's different tiers. You get different cool stuff for each of those tiers. But everyone who does, thank you tremendously so much. It is helping me. It has a big impact and just helps me, continue on more and more and more. Again, this is one that we have been rocking and waiting for the past 3 years. 15th year of
grinding
Sander,
for it.
Episode 5-6, Godfather of Kendama, Colin Sander. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Love you so much, guys. And the nerds are out.